And in their first meeting 4 weeks ago, the Giants beat the Redskins 24-17. And these guys have been at it a long time. 164th meeting, and we will have rain scheduled all day long. And it's been raining hard for several hours. The Redskins have won the toss, and they want the ball. Mike Shanahan, big questions as to whether this will be his last game as head coach of the Redskins. 7-game losing streak, longest since 1998. And Nick Williams is the deep man, number 13 for the Redskins, and Josh Brown will kick off for the Giants. And the season finale is underway. And Nick Williams returning from about 4 yards in the end zone. And a good return for Williams as he gets it beyond the 20, close to the 25. So Kirk Cousins making his third start after Robert Griffin III was shut down, despite the fact that he's healthy. Playing for his future, Rondé, and this is really a showcase situation for him.
I've been really impressed with Kurt, watching him on film these past 2 weeks. Really, his play is what's led them to those really close losses, but he needs to improve. He knows that, but he's getting this opportunity to play right now, and he's excited about it.
First down on the 25. Handoff is to Alfred Morris. And Morris picks up nearly 5 yards on the play, and he is one of our impact players when the Redskins have the ball.
Absolutely. There's been two bright spots on this offense. He's been one, and Pierre Garçon, who's leading the league in reception coming in this game, is the other one. Justin Tuck, who had a huge game in Week 13, pass rusher, run stopper. He's had a pretty good season this year, and Antrell Roll is my MVP on this Giants defense. He is no joke. I know he was lamenting about the Pro Bowl deal, but he has been awesome this year.
Second down and 6. And the quick pass out of the backfield to Morris, and he'll have the first down and knocked out of bounds at about the 44-yard line, and a 15-yard gain. So as we go into the season finale between these division rivals, Rondé, what are today's burning questions?
They're pretty good ones today. 46 and 88. They had two really good players on this Washington offense, Alfred Morris and Pierre Garçon. But other guys have to show up today, namely Kirk Cousins. And on the Giants, they got to avoid this turnover issue. It is ridiculous when you look at how many they've committed and how they've been able to stay in games. On
first down, they go to Morris again, holds onto the ball and gets away and gets into Giant territory to the 49. A good gain. John Beeson, the middle linebacker, making the tackle.
Kirk Cousins, you'll see a little bit of this all day, that quick release, finding guys. He does a really good job reading the field for a guy that doesn't have a lot of snaps under his belt. We'll see that all day today.
And Antrell Roll missing a tackle here, and on this rainy day, holding on to the football will be a premium. So it'll be second down and 4. And once again, they go to Alfred Morris, but this time the Giants come up and led by John Beeson. Linval Joseph as well, and only a 2-yard gain. And Beeson really has made a significant contribution since coming over from the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, he was really kind of underperforming or not winning a job when he was in Carolina, but came over here. His second week into his Giants tenure, he was already starting. And a lot of people say the turnaround on their defense started when he got here. He brings that kind of attitude.
Third down and 3. Roy Helu Jr. is in the game, and out to the left is Aldrick Robinson, wide receiver starting this game. And this pass is dropped by Santana Moss. He was open, and Moss drops the ball, so the Redskins will have to kick on fourth down, and Sav Rocca will come in to boot it away.
Yeah, really good, another quick release by Kirk Cousins here, but Santana just takes his eye off this ball, was looking to get upfield, I guess, before he caught that.
Third worst all-time punt coverage. Here's Ruben Randall, and Randall with a fair catch at the 14-yard line. So Ruben Randall had a knee problem and didn't practice much, but now the Giants with the ball. And let's see what the offense does with Eli Manning and company when we return to MetLife Stadium.
It is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Back here at MetLife Stadium, where the Giants have won 6 of 9 after an 0-6 start. And Eli Manning, playing in his 151st consecutive regular season game. And when London Fletcher does retire, which he's expected to do, Eli Manning will have the longest active consecutive streak. Giants starting from the 15. Here is Andre Brown, and not much there. Rob Jackson, sixth-year linebacker from Kansas State, makes the tackle, and we talked about the Giants' problems. At least one turnover in every game this year.
Yeah, it's been pretty embarrassing if you're a Giant number of turnovers. Lead the league by a wide margin. You know, those 26 interceptions by Eli is just not good. But it's been a collective effort, really, to have this many turnovers. And it's been a big reason why they're sitting at only 6 wins so far.
Then we can talk about the offensive line injuries and the running back situation. It's a laundry list, to say the least. Second down and 9. Manning looking to throw for the first time, and the pass is dropped, incomplete. Brandon Myers, the tight end, was the intended receiver. So it'll be third down and 9.
Eli's had a little bit of these problems too, with his receivers not holding on to balls for him. He has plenty of time in the pocket here. I think he delivers a great ball. It's just slick out. Then Brandon Myers isn't able to bring it down. He sets up a 3rd and long for the Giants early in this game.
So tight end has been a problem. Myers, the former Oakland Raider. Giants near the bottom in third down conversions. Manning gets a pass rush, and the pass is knocked away. And a good defensive play by David Amerson, the rookie from North Carolina State. Reuben Randall was the intended receiver. So Jim Haslett, who has been saying that his defense has had poor field position, holds the Giants here.
Rookie David Amerson here. The Redskins are in an all-out blitz here, so this ball had to come out quick. Amerson, who's had his struggles early, has actually been playing well, gets his hand in there and knocks that ball away, forces the backed-up punt here.
So Steve Weatherford will be kicking from about the 4-yard line, and Santana Moss is back deep. It's a short kick, and Moss is going to let it bounce, and it's down by the Giants at around midfield. So the Redskins will have good field position. Will Hill got a hand on it. And so set to go. Cousins and Shanahan with a rare smile these days, and Eli Manning, who doesn't usually smile for the Giants. No score. We'll be back.
This game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Back here in East Rutherford, New Jersey on a rainy Sunday, and Tom Coughlin, who will finish with a losing record for only the 2nd time in his Giant career, and the first one was his first year in 2004. And a test here for the Giant defense, and we'll see if the Redskin attack can take advantage of it. They're on their own 48 to start. Roy Halou Jr. is the back, and they go on a reverse. Aldrick Robinson on a reverse looking for running room, and he's going to lose yardage. Lose a couple thanks to Justin Tuck. And Justin Tuck, who had 4 sacks in the first game against these Redskins, making the play, and it'll be 2nd and long.
This was a long developing play here. And Justin Tuck really just doing his job, staying in place, gets run off there by Kirk Cousins, but he absolutely destroyed that play from the beginning. Good play by this defensive end.
You know, this Giant defense has been good, even though they gave up a lot of points early on. A lot of them were as a result of those turnovers you were talking about, that by the offense. But here it is 2nd down and 12, back on the 46, and the pass out incomplete. And the intended receiver was the tight end Logan Paulson. So as we mentioned, the last time these clubs played in Washington, Justin Tuck had a tremendous career day.
Yeah, he really did. Working over there on Tyler Columbus, he just destroyed Robert Griffin III. Hadn't had that much production, but that game really kind of pole vaulted him into having a good, strong finish to his 9th season in the league.
A lot of movement by the Redskins on 3rd down and 12. And we'll have a whistle. And it looks like a timeout was called.
First charge, timeout. Washington.
So the Redskins call a timeout, and it looked like a little confusion on the offense there as trying to get set before the snap. So that's the first timeout for Mike Shanahan's team. And it's been kind of obviously a tough, drawn-out, long year. 1-4 start for the Redskins. And it was like watching a disaster movie on a continuous loop. This is a club with the RG3 controversy, surprised at being benched by Mike Shanahan, and of course the head coach on the hot seat, to say the least. And they expect decisions to be made very soon, maybe as early as tomorrow. It's just been an incredibly down year for this 3-12 team.
It has. It's unfortunate, too, after so much promise from last year with Robert. That injury, I think, just really held him back. And the play of the defense early in the season, it was so bad, it was almost impossible for them to stay in games.
3rd down and 12 after the timeout. Cousins getting a rush from Tuck and back to around his 30-yard line and has to throw it away. A fierce Giant pass rush, and it was Tuck first and then DeMontre Moore, the rookie from Texas A&M. The Giants come in and, despite bad field position, stop the Redskins here.
Justin Tuck right here. You see him working on Chris Chester, and he's by him in a second. This is what he did all game 4 weeks ago. He shows more of it today. Gets chased down there by DeMontre Moore, but it was that initial pressure up the gut by Justin Tuck that forced that play.
Ruben Randall, whose longest punt return, 32 years, and Sam Rocca will kick from about his 35. And trying to block it, the kick, a short kick, bounced at around the 25-yard line. Not a good kick by Rocca, and the Giants will have good field possession. And a flag is down.
He's going to get a penalty for kicking this ball, delay a game. Tell you what, these Giant special teams early on here being real aggressive. Those first 2 punts, they've come after him. They're trying to make some noise in the special team game.
Both teams have had their problems, Rondé, in the special teams category this year, as the conference with 5, now 6 officials. Bill Vinovich is the referee this afternoon.
Tom Quinn's unit, special team unit, has been struggling.
Illegal kicking. Kicking team number 48. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. New York keeps the ball. First down.
That's on Jose Gums, who Jim Haslett told us yesterday is going to get to see a lot of action. But the Giant defense, with poor field position, stopped the Redskins and now take over in a scoreless game.
Game on Fox is sponsored by your next truck, Ford F-150. By State Farm, it pays to double check. Talk to your agent today. And by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss.
Wet day in the metropolitan area. No score. And there's Bill Vinovich. See where they placed the ball as they had the illegal kick. Take a look at the impact players when the Giants face the Redskins on offense.
For me, it's Andre Brown. They need to help Eli, and the only way to do that is establish a running game. They have not been good at it. Hakeem Nicks has struggled this year, but he's got a lot of yards. Needs to follow that up. D'Angelo Hall has had a great year, solid in this defense. It's been struggling in the secondary. And London Fletcher, to me, sitting right here, playing in his last NFL game, likely is an impact player for me every single day of the week.
From the 32, good protection there. Pass to Jarrell Jernigan, who was last week's hero. And Jernigan will get the first down. So Jernigan with 3 catches for 147 yards, 13 in the last 2 games, including a touchdown last week. So he has come on.
He's had to step up with Victor Cruz being out. Victor Cruz got hurt in that game at Seattle. A lot of people say he was a bust or whatnot, but look, when you don't have an opportunity, when you're playing behind guys like Hakeem Nicks and Victor Cruz, you don't get your opportunity. He's getting it now, and he's showed up the past 2 weeks.
Jernigan went out of bounds just shy of the first down. So it's 2nd and 1. Tight formation. Andre Brown, and that's close. Andre Brown, who has scored 2 of his 3 touchdowns against the Redskins this year and cleared to play with concussion protocol, along with Peyton Hillis, who had been out. And it will be a first down for the Giants.
Andre Brown being hurt at the beginning of the year certainly didn't help this team. He was so good for them last year at the end of the season, and broke his leg again. it hampered this offense for sure.
Well, David Wilson and Brandon Jacobs were running backs. Wilson with the neck injury. First down at the 43. And here's Brown again, and the Redskins knock him back. And it'll be a loss of 1. London Fletcher, your guy, middle linebacker, knocking him back. London Fletcher, 256 straight games.
London Fletcher just completely destroyed this play. He's not the one that got on the tackle, but Akeem Nicks was coming in there to block him in that interior gap there on that tight end, and London Fletcher destroyed that play for 0 gain by Andre Brown.
And Mike Shanahan said replacing London Fletcher would be like replacing Rondé Barber. Almost impossible. Peyton Hillis is now in at running back. It's second down and 11. Play action. And Manning under pressure being chased from behind, and down he goes. Perry Riley Jr. going the long route to get the sack. His 3rd of the year. And a big loss here.
Yeah, you're not lying. He's over here. Just watch his delayed blitz. See the defensive line of Washington get some penetration. He sees that gap and shoots it. Actually, I think he probably had Peyton Hillis in coverage, and when he blocked, he was able to replace and get the sack on Eli.
And the speculation is that Perry Riley Jr. will move into middle linebacker spot after the retirement of London Fletcher. So it'll be 3rd down and 18, back to the 35, and pressure on, and Eli Manning just has to get rid of it. And it'll be 4th down, and a flag is down.
Number 44 is in the area, 4th down.
So no grounding. The Giants had a player in the area, so it's 4th down, and for a game break, let's check in with Joel Klatt.
All right, Dick, let's go to Atlanta, where Carolina needs a win to secure a bye in the NFC playoffs. But Atlanta up early. Jason Snelling, 9-yard TD grab from Matt Ryan. 7-0 Falcons. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Joel, thank you very much. I think the Falcons would like nothing more than to really send the Panthers to a loss in this last game. And the fair catch called by Santana Moss at the 17. So the Redskins had good field position the last time, could do nothing with it. And so Washington's offense will come back when we return. First quarters have been disaster for the Redskins this year. Only 47 points, and they've given up the most in the first quarter of anyone in the league, 126. And there is Kyle Shanahan, who is the offensive coordinator and the son of Mike, of course, and a lot of things swirling around. Kyle Shanahan actually has gone on record as saying he would not have benched Robert Griffin III, going really against what his father had decided for the team. First down on the 17, and the fake end around. Cousins gets hit as he throws, and it's incomplete, intended for Aldrick Robinson. So the Giants continue to put pressure on, and Rondé, both teams front 7, dominating early on.
Yeah, Matthias Kiwanuka right there. That play action, the fake reverse gave him time to get some penetration there. Kirk Cousins actually delivered a pretty decent ball. You see Kiwanuka up here. Kiwanuka getting that pressure, just throwing the tight end by there. And he had Aldrick Robinson open, just overthrew him. That pressure caused that bad throw, I think.
Joshua Morgan is inactive today, and there's Robinson in motion wide to the right on 2nd and 10. Here's Alfred Morris, and Morris bows his way, gets a few extra yards, and gets to the 24, where John Beeson pulls him down after a gain of 7. Morris had his problems in the initial game against the Giants, but here's a guy for the 2nd straight year going over 1,200 yards, coming in 5th in the league in rushing, and a Pro Bowl alternate. And you wonder, why just an alternate?
Yeah, you know, there's a couple of people on this field, probably because of their records, they're not in the Pro Bowl. This is going to be one of those games where he's going to have a big day, I think. Nasty outside, rainy, don't want to throw it all day.
So it's 3rd down and 3. Cousins gets time, but he misses the target, Nick Williams, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, I think we're going to see all day both quarterbacks struggle throwing the ball. I mean, you can't really see it on your screen. Maybe some of these close-ups, but it is coming down hard out here. The release from the quarterback will be bad. Catching some tough throws will be hard on the receivers today as well.
We don't have a lot of wind. That's not a factor.
No, it's not the old Meadowlands where they had the open side on either stadium. That was miserable.
I guess you would know that. Rocca punting and backpedaling. And returning it is J-Ron Hosley, and Hosley brings it out to the 30-yard line. So the Giants offense with decent field position. No score. Eli Manning back. Not much going on offensively, and as Ronde mentioned, it's not like you have a lot of snow, wind, and ice. The rain is a factor thus far. Neither team has been able to mount anything. The Giants will start from the 31 against this Redskin defense, next to last in points allowed. In fact, only one time this year the Redskins defensively allowed fewer than 24 points. From the 30, Andre Brown, and a big loss. Chris Neal got in there quickly, and a loss of 5 yards on the play. So the Giants season, not as bad as the Redskins at 3-12, but 6-9, and a losing year for a team that won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. And the most points they scored was 31 in the opening game against Dallas. They lost 6 in a row, put you in a little hole. They came back and won 4 straight games, but then lost to the Cowboys 24-21. They've dropped 2 of the last 3, but as Ronde talked about, beating the Lions on the road in overtime, knocking them out of the playoffs, spoke volumes for them. 2nd down and 15. Short screen to Jarrell Jernigan, and he doesn't get much. It'll be 3rd down and long. Josh Wilson, the cornerback, holds Jernigan to a gain of 3. So it'll be 3rd and long for the Giants.
Good play there by Josh Wilson. That screen was actually set up pretty nicely, and Giants have been doing a lot of this these past couple of weeks. Screens to the running back, screens to Jernigan, but he sniffed it out, ran through some trees, those big offensive linemen, and got him on the ground.
Well, this offensive line, 7 different offensive line combinations, 6 different running backs have been in there. That's got to take its toll, and Eli Manning has had a brutal year throwing record interceptions. And here is Manning getting the big rush and has to fire it away. No chance. Josh Wilson on a corner blitz coming in. So we're seeing both teams sending a lot of people. It'll bring up 4th and 12, and the Giants will have to kick again.
Josh Wilson was lined up over Jarrell Jernigan there.
4th down.
But just snuck in through that line of scrimmage. They're calling for intentional grounding. It wasn't saying there wasn't anybody in the area, but Eli was able to get out of the pocket, obviously, and he threw it past the line of scrimmage, so there is no intentional grounding.
Quarterbacks are a combined 4 for 13 now. Santana Moss trying to keep his hands warm. It's not really that cold. Temperature in the low 40s right now. And Steve Weatherford with a low kick. Santana with a returnable kick from the 26. Gets ahead of steam and gets hit and out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. Well, Friday, one of the best bowl games of the year is on Fox as the 13th-ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys take on James Franklin and the 8th-ranked Missouri Tigers. The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic is Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox. Ronde, you have something to add?
Yeah, you say it's not that cold. It's wet. It's wet. It's cold, man. Let's ask Chris Budden if she's cold.
Well, let's ask you. You played in Tampa, so anything would be cold for you.
Oh, man. It's 85 degrees in Tampa right now. I'll be on a plane shortly.
Not that short.
Not that short.
1st down, Redskins. On their 37. Big handoff to Morris. Cousins had nothing doing. Tried to sneak a few yards in there. May have gotten 1. We'll see. Cullen Jenkins, former Eagle, and they're going to call it a sack. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down. So Antrell Roll, who was upset at not making the Pro Bowl, as you mentioned, leading the team with 6 interceptions, shaken up earlier and apparently all right. He's out there now.
Leading the team in tackles, interceptions, the 2nd in the league only to Richard Sherman. He plays so many positions for these Giants. He plays safety, he plays inside, he does everything for them.
2nd down and 10. Cousins, and the pass is caught to the 42 by Santana Moss. And Pierre Garçon, that is, excuse me, who has been the all-time great receiver for a single year, breaking Art Monk's record, and that's a mouthful.
Yeah, you know, he's got 108 receptions now. Next on their team is 45, and it's Jordan Reed, who's not even playing in this game anymore. He has been the ultimate go-to guy. He's reliable. He plays angry. He is the most competitive, one of the most competitive receivers I've ever played against.
Prince Amukamara is defending him. 3rd down and 6. Here comes pressure on Cousins. Gets rid of it, and it will not be a first down. Pierre Garçon making the catch, but he's a yard short of the first down. Terrell Thomas, the nickelback, making the tackle on Garçon, and it's 4th down, a kicking situation.
Just a quick cross route right here. There's nothing that Amukamara could do there. That was actually a late throw because he was Kirk Cousins was running away from the pressure. See, get a glimpse there, though, of Pierre Garçon's hands, how easily he makes some difficult-looking catches.
Mosley is back, and this kick will bounce at the 15, and the Redskins will go on defense, and London Fletcher coming back on the field, and his final game. And I had to laugh the other day when he said this is the last practice, and when you said you won't have to go to practice anymore, but it's a great resume for London Fletcher.
Yeah, at a small school, to be able to play on 3 different teams, Dick, and not miss a game, not miss a start in his last 215. I have so much respect for London Fletcher. The things that these numbers right here, I mean, come on, man. That's you won't see that very often. You got to play a long time. You got to be a very consistent player to be able to rack that up. This will be a celebration on our part for a great career for London Fletcher today.
You said the right word, Rondé. Respect. That's what everyone seems to have for him. Giants starting from the 7-yard line. Here's Andre Brown. And no one has been able to get anything going in the running game, and that was Barry Cofield, the former Giant, and Rob Jackson in a loss of 2. So it'll be 2nd and long.
Yeah, both D lines are dominating up front today. That was just a simple little stretch play. They've tried some man blocking, some zone schemes, and nothing seems to work so far today. I'm telling you, Dick, this is a game you don't want to put it on Eli's arm or Kirk Cousins' arm for that matter in these conditions. Neither one of them have been really good. It'll be interesting to see how this game unfolds and what they can get going on offense.
Brown has already carried 5 times for -5 yards. 2nd and 12. From the 5, play action from the end zone, and the pass is going to be caught. And a first down. Hakeem Nicks, all he has done this year is have the guy with the most yardage and no touchdown.
This will be a good matchup. D'Angelo Hall will be following him all day. This is really a good throw by Eli, but an excellent catch by Hakeem Nicks. D'Angelo is on his back, going over to get that ball. He's able to concentrate and bring that in.
15 yards, most catches in the league without a touchdown, and only 1 catch in the red zone for Nicks. First down out to the 20, and here is Brown, and Andre Brown trapped by Brandon Merriweather, the safety. And let's check in again with Joel Klatt for another game break.
And we're out to Cincinnati. Baltimore trying to win, get some help to get into the playoffs, but they're not getting it from Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, 53 yards to A.J. Green, and the Bengals are up 1. It's 7-6 in that ball game. Back to New York, Dick and Rondé.
All right, Joel, thank you very much. And the Ravens need a win in a San Diego loss or tie, or a win in a Miami loss. Super Bowl champs to get back in the Derby. Peyton Hillis is in the game, but it's a pass instead to Jernigan. And Jernigan is out there making the catch to the 36-yard line where Josh Wilson covered. So a gain of 15 on the previous play, 11 more here. And another Giant first down. Remember, they started from their 7.
Yeah, this was a really good throw here by Eli Manning. Pocket movement helps Eli, and Jernigan does a really good job coming out of this break. Josh Wilson's nowhere near him. Good execution there by the Giants.
Jernigan already with 3 catches in the game.
Yeah, he's proven the last 3 weeks to be the go-to guy.
Final seconds of this first quarter. They get it off before the end of the quarter, and the pass out on the clock to Hillis. And Hillis picks up good yardage as the quarter comes to an end. D'Angelo Hall makes the stop, a gain of 6. It's the end of the first quarter. No score, and Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. We start the second quarter, no score. Dick Stockton, Rondé Barber, and Chris Budden here at MetLife Stadium. And the NFC playoff picture, a lot of the key games, most of them will be later, including the big Chicago-Green Bay test. Carolina losing 7-0 to Atlanta. They've already clinched the playoff berth, but that's early in the second quarter. And there'll be a lot of updates today and the big games coming up on this final weekend.
That New Orleans Buccaneers game, New Orleans needs a victory to get into the postseason against my old team. Ought to be a fun one to watch. See if they can finish out this season.
Second down and 4. Giants on their 42. Hand off to Hillis, and Hillis is not going to be able to shake Brandon Merriweather, the free safety, who has made back-to-back plays. Loss of 1, bringing up third down.
Merriweather may have been coming on a pressure there and ran right into the offensive call of the Giants. Nowhere for Peyton Hillis to go there.
Third down and 5. Neither team has yet to convert a third down situation.
Redskins have 6 defensive backs on the field. The only other guy is Perry Riley Jr. right there. It's all DBs other than that.
Giants line up 4 receivers, and Manning's pass, and it is caught, and it's Brandon Myers, and apparently has enough forward progress for a first down to the 47-yard line. So Myers hung in with that, and the Giants become the first team to convert a third down today.
Redskins had all these guys standing up on the line of scrimmage and then bounced back into zone coverage. E.J. Biggers was actually in position to make this play. He was just a little late coming out of his break, but just enough progress to get the first down for New York.
Andre Brown back at running back, and the quick pass, and it's caught by Jarrell Jernigan, and Jernigan will get a first down and gets knocked forward to the 40-yard line by Chris Baker, picking up 13 yards. So there is Chris Baker.
Saw some elusiveness there from Jarrell Jernigan. Eli looks over, there's nobody covering him up, so he just dumps it out to him, and then Jernigan does all the rest. Look at that move he just made on Perry Riley there. That was some of the things that this little jitterbug receiver can do for you.
Talk about a hot read. Saw one there, first down on the
definition of a hot read.
That's right. 40-yard line of the Redskins. And here is Manning trying to avoid the pressure, and overthrows intended for John Connor, the fullback, and no chance there. So Eli Manning just wanted to get rid of the ball, so it'll be second down and 10. 10th play of the drive coming up. Remember, the Giants started from their own 7. So far, it looks like Jernigan is his go-to guy, as has been the case in the previous 2 games.
He's got some guys to work with. Jernigan could be one of those guys who can rely on today. He'll have a much easier time.
Hand off to Brown. Andre Brown changes direction, and Andre Brown will be about 2 yards shy of the first down as Hall and Kerrigan combine to bring him down. Well, you said the weather's a little cold. We know it's wet. Let's see what Chris Budden has to report.
Well, the temperature may not say it all, but when you're soaking wet down here, there's a little bit of a breeze, and it can get quite chilly. I'm standing behind the Giants sidelines. You see a lot of guys kind of shivering. And during the breaks, a lot of the guys are stretching, trying to stay warm and trying to heat up underneath those huge jackets they all have on.
I think Chris is well protected.
I don't know. We rode over here with her. She might need to steal one of those ponchos from these guys.
She might. Third down and 2 on the Redskin 32. Manning getting some time and overthrows a cutting Hakeem Nicks. Cofield came on the pressure, but it looked like Nicks got free on that shallow cross, and it's fourth down.
You know, his arm may have also gotten hit here, because this is a, yeah, it got hit, because that's a bad miss with Hakeem Nicks, and he's motioning, saying it right there, the pressure.
Yep.
right before he let go, and the ball comes out wobbly and over the top of Akeem Nicks. He had him open, though. The Redskins dropped into a zone, and Akeem Nicks was going to catch that and go for a lot of yards.
Probably would have hit him, too, with Nicks being that open. So now Josh Brown will try a 50-yard field goal in the rain to try to give the Giants the lead, and it's no good. And now we have a scuffle going on and pushing and shoving at around the 45-yard line. Ryan Kerrigan and Justin Pugh were going at it. No flags were thrown, but the missed field goal by Josh Brown, who was the hero last week with his field goal in overtime. So it remains 0-0 still early in the second. Here's the miss. Hooked it.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, the missed field goal by Josh Brown, and it was 3rd and 2, and Josh Brown in this kind of weather missing and hooking that long field goal.
Surprised they didn't take a shot and go for it. But
Redskins take over. Good field position on the 40 after the long miss. Handoff to Morris. And Morris is tackled after a short gain by Jaquan Williams. You were watching Josh Brown before the game on this.
yeah, I was down there. He's sitting there with Tom Cullen. You actually see me standing there right there watching him miss. And he was getting really frustrated. Nothing would get it to work the way he wanted to. He's hooking. He's trying to start it outside the right, upright. He couldn't get it to hook back in. You know, Tom Cullen, the special teams coordinator, was sitting there watching this whole thing. You know, the weather here is nasty. There's a little bit of wind swirling. Definitely a factor.
You're the first guy ever to telestrate himself.
Had an opportunity.
And I remember 2nd down and 10. And again, it's Morris off the left side. And again, the Giants are there. And it's John Beeson, who's having a solid first half in run defense. No gain on the play, and that'll bring up 3rd down. But you may bring up a good point. It was 3rd down and 2 on the 32-yard line. And in a day like this, you get a first down, at least increase your percentage for a field goal.
Yeah, there's not a lot of offense so far today. You would think they would have taken a chance, but Tom took calculated guess. We'll see if that situation comes up again, if he makes the same decision.
3rd down and 10. Redskins 40. And coming in with the Giants, unabated Demontre
Neutral
Moore.
zone infraction. Defense number 98. Unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
I think that's the definition of unabated. Nobody moved. I'm just going to go.
Well, Moore did move, so it'll be 3rd down and 5, and that's got to really get under Tom Coughlin's skin. That dead ball foul when you have 3rd and long, and now it's manageable. 3rd and 5 now at the 45-yard line. Roy Halou Jr. going out for the pass, but instead it's going to be going to Nick Williams, who can't handle it. And the Giants defend that pass. Nick Williams, the undrafted rookie from UConn. So 4th down, and this scoreless game remains early here in the second.
Kirk Cousins fired this ball, man. He has an angry release. That's the best way I can describe the way he throws the ball. It comes out so hard, but it's a really tight spiral. He threw that in some tight coverage, though.
Sam Rocca, and the Giants coming in again, and Ruben Randall will let that bounce, and it hits off of the Giant out of bounds at around the 20-yard line. And it was Mark Herzlich who tried to get a piece of that punt. We'll be back, and it'll be Giants ball when we do. Well, no score, and that means the Redskins defense hasn't done a bad job. Next to last in giving up nearly 31 points a game this season, the most since 1954.
Look at that, 0 for Washington. First couple of games, that was 20.
And 0 for the Giants as well. Let's see what they do starting from the 20-yard line. They had a good drive the last time out and missed a 50-yard field goal. Manning under pressure and gets rid of it. And it was Kedrick Golston that time, and fortunately for Eli Manning, he had a receiver in the neighborhood, and a lot of pressure on this Giant offensive line.
Yeah, working on David Deal there, I think, just coming back from that injury and just runs right through him, right past him. There's so much pressure from both D lines so far today in the run game and so far in the passing game.
Giants lost David Boss, of course, their center. Chris Snead, their guard. Jim Cordell as well. So it's been makeshift all the way. And you mentioned Deal coming back after the knee injury and active against Detroit. 2nd and 10. And a timeout. Giants call their first timeout.
First charge timeout.
Each team has called one.
New York.
And you wonder when the breakthrough is going to come. The most aggressive play calling we've seen so far have been on attempted blocks of punts. And we'll take a break. Just under 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Nothing so far.
Game is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink possible.
And back here at MetLife Stadium, no score. 2nd down and 10 for the Giants after calling their first timeout of the game. Jernigan in the slot to the right, handoff to Andre Brown. And Brown loses the ball, and the Redskins may have it. Fumble, and the Redskins recover. There it is, the Giants with at least one turnover in every game this year. Josh Wilson made the recovery, and that is the 42nd giveaway of the year for Tom Coughlin's crew. It has really buried them.
Andre Brown took a couple of good shots there. Merriweather comes in for the tackle, just ripping at that thing, and then that last hit pops that ball out. Josh Wilson, right spot, right time. Ball falls right into his hands. This is a good play, though, by Brandon Merriweather, just raking at that ball, and then his buddies come along and help it out.
So a big opportunity, and neither team mounting an offense, but you get a takeaway, and let's see what the Redskins do. They're on the Giant 18. First down, and here is Alfred Morris on first down, and he picks up a couple of yards, and that's all. Once again, John Beeson is there. So the Giants, the only team in the league with a turnover in all 16 games. What's a little ironic is that they turned it over in every game in 2007, and they only won the Super Bowl that year.
That 2007 team, from my perspective, was a little improbable Super Bowl run, but they got hot at the end of the year and made that deal. But it's been insurmountable so far this year. 42 turnovers. Those numbers are just baffling.
Nick Williams going in motion to the right. Empty backfield on 2nd down and 8. Cousins getting protection, and this pass is incomplete. And it was intended for Niles Paul, defended well by the cornerback Prince Amukamara, who has taken a big step for the Giants, maybe headed someday to Pro Bowl honors himself.
Yeah, if he can work on his ball skills and become a better interceptor for sure. Kirk Cousins, now watch him. He does a really good job here surveying the field. His first option is not there. He's looking over here. It's covered up, comes back, sees the crosser, but has a chance over here on the outside. Just makes a little bit of a low throw, and that would have been a really good progression for Kirk Cousins.
3rd down and 8. Big 3rd down play, and it really is. Even in the second quarter in a scoreless game, Cousins is going to try to run for it, and Cousins gets tripped up and stopped short of the 10-yard line by Terrell Thomas. And that will force the Redskins to bring their field goal team on. So they were in great position, maybe to get a TD. They'll try for 3.
Terrell Thomas, who's right there, you see him in the corner of your screen, actually takes away the throw that Kirk Cousins wants and then comes up and makes the tackle. It was a really good play by the Giants DB there.
So the Giants do a good job of holding the Redskins, who got the ball on a fumble. Now Kai Forbath with a 31-yard attempt. Trying to put the Redskins in the lead in this game, and he does. And it comes with 8:16 to go in the second quarter, and it's as a result of a fumble by Andre Brown. The Giants turning it over for the 42nd time this year. Redskins get 3 out of it, 3-0. Redskins lead on Kai Forbath's 31-yard field goal. Raindrops falling on a lot of people's heads this afternoon here at MetLife Stadium. And Eli Manning has completed 7 of 14 for 63 yards, but the turnover helps the Redskins get a lead here. And Michael Cox back to return from the 1-yard line for the Giants. He ended up the only healthy running back after the Detroit game last week. Nick Williams makes the tackle. Well, American Idol is looking for the next superstar. Join Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, Harry Connick Jr., along with Ryan Seacrest as they search for the best new talent. American Idol's most exciting season yet begins Wednesday, January 15th on Fox. So Eli Manning's numbers, and the Giants turned it over, but the big story with Eli Manning, the 25 interceptions, 26 interceptions, which is a career team high, league high. Starting from the 25. Downfield, nearly intercepted by D'Angelo Hall. And Brandon Merriweather also had a shot after it came off of Hall's hands.
Keem Nicks here running this dig route, but D'Angelo Hall runs this route for him. Look at this. I can't believe Eli let go of this ball. D'Angelo Hall probably will not have an easier interception in his career. It's so well covered, and Eli just making another bad mistake that should have been his 27th interception of the year. Granted, Keem Nicks probably could have fought for that a little harder, but man.
Peyton Hillis with a burst up ahead, and Hillis will have a first down, picking up 13. And the Giants with their biggest gain on the ground so far today.
Finally got a gap there. Dallas Reynolds clearing the line. Brandon Merriweather needs to keep his head up there, but gets run through by Peyton Hillis, big strong back.
And Akeem Nicks was talking about how the Giant receivers really want to get in a better connection situation with Eli Manning next year, and we have a injured player. Nicks, of course, who hasn't caught a touchdown pass, and there is Jarvis Jenkins, who is going to come out of the game. But Giant receivers looking to get on a better same page with Eli Manning next year, because the connection hasn't been there this season.
Yeah, neither one of the star receivers, quote-unquote star receivers, Victor Cruz or Keem Nicks, were available in the offseason OTAs for various reasons. And Victor this week said, yeah, we got to work more with Eli. I mean, you throw 26 interceptions in a season. There's a lot of reasons. It's just not on Eli, even though he hasn't been his best. They need to get some continuity going forward. And I think as long as they're amiable to it, they'll be better next year.
First down, and here is Hillis again after the 13-yard gain. And he brings it out to the 41, picking up 3.5 yards.
The biggest problem, though, I think, Dick, was with the offensive line. Those 7 different offensive line combinations this year, that's just, it's unheard of, really. The only 2 guys that have started every game were the 2 tackles, Beatty and Pugh. And it's just, you can't find the continuity, the protection. He's having to do a lot of work for the offense. It's been tough for this Giants offense.
No question about it. You look at playoff teams, and usually the offensive line has been intact all season long. 2nd down and 7. And here is Eli up the middle, and the pass is caught by Jernigan. Jernigan with the speed, still on his feet. And Jernigan fighting his way for every last yard he can get, and he got plenty of them. Pushed out of bounds by Merriweather after getting 30 yards, and the Giants back in business.
We talk about go-to guys for Eli Manning. These past 3 weeks, that go-to guy has been Jarrell Jernigan. And right here, he just runs away from Josh Wilson. He tried to make a play on that ball. He should have secured the tackle before he stuck his hand out there, and gives a lot of running room for the Giants wide receiver there. 5 catches today, 66 yards. Man, he's off to a fast start for the Giants.
3rd-year receiver. And without question, the go-to guy lately. Here is Hillis off the right side, and Hillis getting inside the 25. Fletcher is there. Game break time. Here's Joel Klatt. Joel.
All right, Dick, down to Atlanta, and if you're a New Orleans fan, don't look. Melvin White, the pick 6 off of Matt Ryan, and he's cut Atlanta's lead to 3. It is 10-7 Atlanta at this point. Carolina with a win earns the 2 seed and a bye. Dick and Rondé.
And what would it mean, Joel, for New Orleans to possibly sneak in there and get a home field advantage? That's really what they play for. How effective that offense is at home. Plenty of action yet to go in that one. 2nd down and 5. And here is Manning going deep into the end zone. And it is caught for the touchdown by Jernigan.
Wow, Dick, that is a beautiful throw and catch right there by Eli Manning, Drell Jernigan. The coverage was there, but the throw was way better, and an outstanding catch over the top of his head. Right here in the slot, you can see he's matched up on Josh Wilson. Josh Wilson's good coverage, and he has help from Merriweather. Man, that is a really good catch there. Secures it before he goes out of bounds. Gets both knees down, so this will be a touchdown even upon review.
Well, what a great throw as well, and well-timed by Jernigan. His 2nd touchdown catch if it goes, and it will. And back-to-back games with touchdown catches, 24 yards. And so finally, we've seen a quarterback take a shot in this game in the rain. Josh Brown is on for the extra point. And the Giants have taken a 7-3 lead, answering the Redskin field goal, which came after a turnover. A beautiful throw and catch. Eli Manning to Jernigan, and it's 7-3 Giants. And the Giants strike with the first touchdown of the game. 6 plays, 75 yards. And Drell Jernigan, who himself caught passes for 54 yards on the drive, now has 6 catches for 90 yards in this first half with 5:21 remaining. And the Giants lead 7-3, looking to finish with a very impressive 7-3 end to an 0-6 start of the year. Brown kicking off, and here's Nick Williams. Bobbles it, still doesn't have control, and now covers up inside his 10. Nick Williams having trouble fielding that kickoff. And DeMontre Moore was quickly down there, and the Redskins really backed up here for this drive.
Yeah, these simple things late in seasons, you got new guys doing things. Got to secure that catch, put them in bad field position. You talk about momentum changes. D'Angelo Hall intercepts that ball. It's a whole different situation for Washington. Eli Manning talked about how bad that one throw was, and then he comes back and throws a beautiful ball for a touchdown. And now the Redskins are backed up in their own territory.
On the 9. Pass out to Garcon, and the Giants are there. So Garcon picking up a couple of yards. Terrell Thomas is there.
Trying to get the ball to their best playmaker. That's his 3rd catch of the day. Remember, if he gets 2 more, he'll be the only guy this year. Well, Andre Brown in Pittsburgh has the same opportunity to catch 5 balls in every game. This guy needs to have a good game for Washington. I'm sorry, Antonio Brown needs to have a big day for Washington. They're going to keep up these Giants.
2nd down and 8. Here's Alfred Morris, and the Giants hold him to no gain, and it's Linval Joseph, number 97, who gets in there. No gain on the play, so this is an opportunity for the Giant defense to smother the Redskins, maybe get the ball in good field position as we get close to 4 minutes to go in the half.
Alfred Morris is a really patient runner. You see that zone scheme, all those linemen going that way, and gives them some cutback opportunity, but there's nothing there for him. Giants defense swarming around that ball. He's been a frustrated runner all day today.
3rd down and 8. Morris, 14 yards and 7 carries. And the Redskins still looking for their first 3rd down conversion. Cousins. And the pass incomplete. And all over Logan Paulson was Terrell Thomas, who's played a very active first half in the secondary for the Giants, and Justin Tuck got in Cousins' way here.
Yeah, Cousins getting pressured right up the gut by Justin Tuck again. Terrell Thomas, who hasn't been used a bunch this year, having himself quite a day early in this football game.
So 6 straight 3-and-outs by the Redskins, and Sam Rocca will be kicking to J-Ron Hosley. And bobbling in the end zone, and in trouble as Rocca gets the kick away. An amazing play. Here's Hosley, and Hosley gets knocked back. Gabe Brown, but what a great job by Sav Rocca, who bobbled it in the end zone against the rush. And now we have a melee going on the 40-yard line. And we have some helmets that have been knocked off. Niles Paul is without a helmet.
Ineligible player downfield. Kicking team number 56. 5 yards from the end of the run. New York keeps the ball. First down.
So Perry Riley Jr. ineligible, and that's understandable with the kick not getting off quickly.
Absolutely. This weather conditions taking its toll again in the special teams. Just hits him right in the hand, just drops it. But you got to imagine that some of these guys are going to get downfield when it takes that long for the operation to get off. But I tell you what, it was a heck of a kick by Rocca.
Tremendous.
This could have been a safety, a touchdown, whatever. But him getting out of there and side-legging that is pretty impressive. And here's the scrum. You see Niles Paul and Charles James getting after it, and his helmet comes off, and surprised there was no penalty thrown right here.
I thought Rocca was going to kick it into the stands the way he was sidewinding it so close to the sideline. So the Giants have the ball on the Redskin 46-yard line, first down, and the pass is broken up, intended for Louis Murphy Jr. by David Amerson, and it'll be second down for the Giants.
David Amerson, second time today we've seen him. This rookie, man, I think he could be a really good player. Just plant and drive, coming out of that break. Eyes were on his receiver, not looking into the backfield. A lot of corners make that mistake, wanting to stare down the quarterback. The guy in front of you is the ones you're covering. Get your eyes back late, and you made a good play on that ball.
Well, when the ball's in the air, you better be looking for the ball. Otherwise, it's what, PI? Huh?
Unless you're beat.
Unless you're beat. Second down and 10 on the 46 of the Redskins. Moving Peyton Hillis over. Dropped by Murphy Jr., former Panther. And it looked like if he had caught it in stride, he would have had a first down and more. So it'll be 3rd and 10 now.
Feel the rhythm of this Giants offense all of a sudden now. Eli's comfortable changing play at the line of scrimmage, and he had his guy. Louis Murphy just lets that ball come to his chest, and it just beats him up. Incomplete there, but he had Amerson beat. That would have been a big gainer as well.
So it's deceptively chilly, would you say that?
It's deceptively chilly. We're getting a little chilly up here. I don't know about you. You're a tough guy from South Florida, but it's chilly up here.
Yeah. You're a tough guy from Tampa. 3rd down and 10. Here's Manning going deep for Nix. He's got it. Hakeem Nicks beating D'Angelo Hall, and the Giants will have a first down at the 11. 35-yard play.
D'Angelo Hall ends up all by himself. He's looking, saying, what just happened right here? This ball floated in the air a long time. See this double move? He actually reads it really well. Hakeem Nicks, just a big body, strong hands, goes up and gets that ball from D'Angelo Hall.
Well, do you think this is where Eli Manning wants to get Hakeem his touchdown?
You know what? Hakeem's had some opportunities, a couple on film that I watched, where Eli made some bad throws and missed them. But yeah, a guy that's had not his most productive year, but a lot of catches and not have scored. I mean, that's got to be a little frustrating for him.
And the chains, and let's take a look. The chains were caught in the Skins sideline, so they had to move them. But there you're looking at 56 catches, 896 yards, no touchdowns.
Some of those guys on that list, it's good and I guess bad company. Depending on how you want to look at it.
First down at the 11. 2:34 to go. Here's Hillis. And Hillis is stopped by Perry Riley Jr.
He was stopped, but he drugged 3 or 4 guys for about 4 yards. He comes out of that pretty fired up.
It'll be second down. The Giants can get a first down without getting a touchdown if they get inside the 1. 5-yard gain, and it was a good gain by the hard-running Hillis, who has 25 yards and 5 carries. And we wind down to the 2-minute warning here at MetLife Stadium. In the rain, these two longtime rivals finishing up a down year, but the Giants would like to finish it up at 7-9. Redskins trying to end a 7-game losing streak. Here's Andre Brown, who fumbled, and Redskins got a field goal, gained 7 yards and 8 carries, and Peyton Hillis has come in and done a terrific job. And we may see Hillis, the Giant running back, the rest of the way. It'll be 2nd down and 5 with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. And play action. Manning being chased, and the pass flag is down. It was intended for Nix, and he comes up hobbling a bit. Hakeem Nicks going back to the huddle. It was Ryan Kerrigan with the pressure.
Pass interference. Offense number 88. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
So offensive pass interference against Hakeem Nicks.
Here's the premium matchup of the day. Hakeem Nicks versus D'Angelo Hall, and just comes in. Hakeem just runs right through and pushes him down. I saw both of these guys on the ground there. I was wondering how it happened, and now we know Hakeem Nicks trying to force his position on D'Angelo Hall, who had actually read that play out pretty well, even with the play action, and was waiting right there for Hakeem Nicks, and he gets the penalty.
And Nicks leaves the game. He was shaken up, even though he was guilty of the foul. And Julian Talley, undrafted rookie from the University of Massachusetts, number 19, has replaced Nicks. There he is to the right. 2nd down and 15 now. But the Giants got inside the 10, and here it's Manning, dumps it off, and Hillis doesn't hold on to it. Wouldn't have gotten much anyway. And it bounced off of the shoulder, actually, of Will Beatty, the left tackle. Big crowd there where Hillis went out for the pass. So it'll be 3rd down and 15, and the Giants about to squander a big opportunity.
Yeah, Perry Riley Jr., won't see him in our screen here, but he's been sniffing out all these screens. You see him reacting there early. He would have eaten up that screen even if it would have gotten completed. It said the Giants have been doing a lot of that recently, and the Redskins coming to this game prepared for it.
3rd down and 15. Pressure picked up, and the pass knocked away. Hillis was the intended receiver, and Perry Riley Jr. in coverage situation got a piece of it and might have had an interception. So it'll be 4th down, and Hakeem Nicks goes into the locker room. He's not the only Giant receiver to have to go to the locker room.
Eli here with a lot of pressure in his face, just trying to dump this ball off to his outlet here, but Perry Riley had him covered up.
And we understand Ruben Randall has been shaken up as well, but Josh Brown is on. He missed a 50-yard field goal earlier. This will be from 34 yards out. And this one is good. So the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week for his 3 field goals, including the game winner against the Lions. And Tom Coughlin's Giants extend their lead now to 10-3. 1:38 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Tom Coughlin, who has said that he wants to come back and coach the Giants next year. A lot of attention more, of course, to Mike Shanahan's status. Mike Shanahan in the 4th year of a 5th-year contract, double-digit losses in 3 seasons. Not what the Redskins wanted, and seems to be some dysfunction in the Redskins scheme of things. And the kick headed for Nick Williams at the 4-yard line on the return. Stays on his feet, does a nice job of getting back to the 20-yard line, where Ryan Mundy makes the tackle. For the injury update, let's go down to Chris Button.
Giants wide receiver Ruben Randall is out for the rest of the game with a knee injury. Redskins defensive end Jarvis Jenkins went into the locker room early. Right now he is questionable and being evaluated for a concussion. We'll keep you updated.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. And then we saw Hakeem Nicks go into the locker room as well. So the Giants, who have been thin at running back, offensive line, and
thin everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere could be thin, of course. We know about Victor Cruz with a season-ending surgery for his knee. 1st down, Cousins, and incomplete, intended for Aldrick Robinson and Tremaine McBride, who has been bothered by a groin injury on the coverage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Kirk Cousins came back late. Cousins came back late to Aldrick Robinson. Really good play by McBride. He had some space there. That ball would have been completed.
2nd and 10. Cousins under pressure. Down he goes. Right around the 10, Justin Tuck. He had 4 sacks in the first meeting between these teams and has one here. His 10th sack of the year, a loss of 9.
And he's been active all day today. You see him right there coming in and inside, working on the guards when they get into these predictable passing situation, and he is just giving fits to Chris Chester. It's about the 3rd time that he's just gone by him, gotten pressure on Kirk Cousins. It finally comes to fruition in a sack for him.
And the Giants call their 2nd timeout, and Justin Tuck now with double-digit sacks for the first time in 4 years. And he's been open in his desire to return to the Giants. Had an interception against the Lions last week, and he said that whatever happens, he knows it's going to be emotional and tears may flow at the end of the game when he leaves this field.
I'm telling you what, man, if there's a guy, I can't think of a guy that you want on your team more than him. Through this miserable season that the Giants have had, he's been a constant, he's been a leader, he's been strong in his opinions for and against his team. You love to have guys like that on your football team.
3rd down and 9. Redskins 0 for 7 on 3rd down conversions. They're inside the 10. Roy Hillou Jr. fumbles and recovers his own miscue and gets it at the 15. Cullen Jenkins had knocked the ball out of the hands. And for a game summary, let's quickly get it to Joel Klatt.
All right, Dick, let's get down to Miami, where the New York Jets have taken the lead against Miami. Geno Smith, 7 yards on the QB keeper, 6 of the season. Jets up 14-7. Back to New York, Dick and Rondé.
An interesting scenario as far as the Dolphins, who are trying to get into the playoff as the 6th seed. And the Giants have called their 3rd and final timeout. And Redskins, Roy Hillou Jr. managing to hold on to the ball, but it's 4th down, and Sav Rocca will be kicking to J-Ron Hosley, now that we know that Ruben Randall is out for the rest of the game with a knee injury.
That was a pretty bad 2-minute sequence there for the Redskins. They needed to get something done there and just lost yardage and almost had a fumble. It could have been disastrous for him.
Gonna let the kick drop, and it'll be just over the midfield line to the 45, so the Giants will have good field position with 1:03 to go. They're out of timeouts. And for what's ahead at halftime, check in right now with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, it's the final week of the regular season as teams gear up for a chance at Super Bowl 48 later on Fox. The Dolphins, Ravens, and Steelers all in early action, fighting for that last AFC playoff spot. We'll talk all about it on the Visa Halftime.
And looking forward to it, Kurt. Giants, who have no timeouts remaining, will have a 1st down on their 44. Defense done a great job holding the Redskins to only 1 first down in this game. So this will be the 2-minute drill. Good field position, no timeouts left. Eli's been here before, gets rid of it, and nearly thrown into the hands of Perry Riley Jr. And this time it was Chris Baker who came in strong and knocking Manning down.
Baker over here gets this instant pressure here on Eli and forces him out of the pocket. He gets almost hurt. God, his ankle was turned up under him there. Watch his inside ankle there. Gets turned up, but almost another interception by Eli. You see him limping a little bit here.
The numbers of Manning under pressure from the Redskins. Front 7, 2nd down and 10. Tipped and intercepted. Redskins get it back. And it's Josh Wilson with the interception. So the tip ball, and you're right, Eli Manning is limping out there. You wonder what his status is as the Giants turn it over for the 2nd time in the game in the interception by Wilson.
And Eli should not have been out here on this play. I don't know if we'll see it, but he throws this ball completely flat-footed with his arm. It's high. Good coverage by E.J. Biggers. Wilson gets the interceptions, but this was a function of Eli Manning not being able to step into that throw at all. He's going to the locker room as well, it looks like.
Yeah, limping off and being helped to the locker room. Redskins, who got a field goal from a giant fumble by Andre Brown earlier in the game to account for their only points, still have 2 timeouts remaining. They begin this drive on their own 46, so a big opportunity for the Redskins. Kirk Cousins pass, and it's caught to the 40 by Pierre Garçon. And a first down, and the hurry up now as we wind down to a half a minute to go in the first half.
Kirk Cousins trying to rally his team, taking a little bit long on this operation to get this playoff. See if they can generate some points out of these last 20 seconds here this half.
Roy Halou Jr. coming out as a pass receiver, and the pass nearly picked off by Jaquan Williams, right in his hands.
Woo,
so we've had so many, Rondé, near interceptions on both sides today.
I told you today, with this nasty weather, balls aren't going to come out the way they should. You see him make a great break here, though, on this underneath breaking route by Aldrick Robinson. He really should be running the other way. This should be 6 on the Giants scoreboard right now.
So it's 2nd down and 10. Aldrick Robinson in motion to the right. Moss and Garçon to the left. Pressure handled, and the pass is caught by Santana Moss. And Moss close to the first down, maybe shy by a yard or so, near the Giant 30. And the Redskins will use their 2nd timeout.
30-second timeout. Redskins have another timeout so they can get another play in before they attempt a field goal here.
So Eli Manning, Rondé, with his 27th interception, the most in a season in the last 30 years, the 4th most.
That's an impressive graphic, only in the fact that Peyton's on there, Brett Favre's on there, Vinny Testaverde and Drew Bledsoe all had pretty decent years or have these same type of numbers. It kind of speaks to how hard it is in this league sometimes. Of course, Peyton's was his rookie year. He was throwing balls all over the place that year, but Eli's had some good years, but he's had some down years as well, and this has definitely been a down one for him and the Giants.
Looking for a comeback here next year for sure. 3rd down and 1. Cousins, and the pass thrown behind Aldrick Robinson, incomplete. So it'll be 4th down and 1. And the Redskins looking toward the sideline, and they're going to send their field goal team on. Kai Forbath. 9 seconds to go in the half.
Absolutely, you take the points here. You know, if they would have converted there, I almost think they should have had a little bit more quick hitting play. They were trying to get some extra yardage here, but this wasn't a decision. Take the field goal opportunity by Kai Forbath, 9 seconds left.
49-yard field goal attempt. Kick one from 31 yards earlier. And this kick is good, and the Redskins get points out of it. And, you know, it took them a while to get to the line of scrimmage, and they might have wasted some time and might have had more time to get that first down.
Yeah, there was a couple of that second or third play of that series there. Kirk Cousins couldn't get this play called relayed, and at least ate up 10 or 15 seconds there for the Redskins.
So taking advantage of the interception. Boy, it's been a rough year for New York teams, although the Knicks and the Nets just a couple of games out of first place in their division. The Jets 7-8 in this season, and the Giants with a losing year, and then the hockey story.
We don't even have MLB on there. The Mets were bad, and the Yankees missed the playoffs. Yeah, this has been a bad season if you're a New York sports fan.
Well, they've had some glorious years as well. And by the way, the New York Jets are leading the Miami Dolphins 14-7. And there's Josh Wilson, who had the interception to set up the score, and he's going to the locker room early. So the Redskins with 2 field goals, both coming off of Giant turnovers. Forbath will be kicking off to Michael Cox. He's a halftime coming up in a matter of minutes. And fielded at the 30 by DeMontre Moore, and time will run out. So that will do it. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Giants 10, the Redskins 6. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report coming up after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. And welcome back to MetLife Stadium here in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Steady rain all day long. We're getting ready for the start of the third quarter with the Giants leading the Redskins 10-6. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Well, right now you'd have to say the big story is the fact that we probably have seen the last of Eli Manning in this game. The Giants lead 10-6. Both teams want to end up on the right note. Your views of the game thus far, Robert?
I think this Giants defense has played really well today. That's 66 yards of Washington offense. Just says the whole story. Justin Tuck's been very productive. Eli's been up and down before he got his injury, but we'll see what they can do going into the second half. The weather is not going to get any better, so I think either team's going to have to find a way to run the football, see if they can grind out a win today here at MetLife Stadium.
We've had a lot of near interceptions by both teams in this game, and 2 turnovers. Giants turned it over by virtue of a fumble and an interception thrown by Eli, and Michael Cox is back deep. Giants getting the ball to start this third quarter. And Cox at the 2. Bringing it back, and a good return by Michael Cox. Out of the University of Massachusetts, 7th round pick. And we're going to see Curtis Painter in for the 3rd game this year, and here's why Painter is in for Manning.
Yeah, Manning's been under pressure all day long. Perry Riley there, Josh Wilson on the blitz. Later in this half, he gets pressure right up the middle, and you see his left ankle get caught up underneath him. Took a hard turn. The interception was the next play because of that ankle, and now we see Curtis Painter in the game for the Giants.
Those are his numbers so far in 2 appearances. Bobbles the snap and loose ball, and the Giants have recovered. So inauspicious start on the first snap for Curtis Painter in his 4th year from Purdue, and recovered his own fumble.
Chris Baker comes out with that ball, but man, first shot at quarterback in this game, and can't get the center quarterback exchange going.
Slippery ball in the rain, and that doesn't help things either. So Painter, who had 8 starts for the Colts 2 seasons ago, not on a regular season roster for anyone last year.
It's going to be even more important now for the Giants to establish his running game. Peyton Hillis in the game.
He's been in there ever since Brown fumbled early in the first quarter, and a gain of a couple of yards. Kerrigan is there, and a gain of 1. As you mentioned, the Giant defense has really done a marvelous job. You can talk about the rain all you want, but they have really shut down the Redskins in all those categories. Redskins 0 for 9 in 3rd downs.
Yeah, that's not very indicative of this Redskins offense, even though they've been struggling on that side of the ball. They're actually top 10 team in 3rd down percentage this year, but today it's been an Achilles heel. Haven't been able to change field position at all. They're going to have to get some as this game goes on. They won't be able to compete with the Giants.
Normally, if you win the turnover battle, you're in good shape, but that's not the case thus far. 3rd down and 14. Painter's pass is caught by Lewis Murphy Jr. and well short of the first down, so it'll be a kicking situation for Steve Weatherford.
Emerson over here on Lewis Murphy. Just runs this under route. He gets some separation. Obviously, this ball is delivered short of the first down marker. But Curtis Painter did a good job getting it out of his hands before any pressure got to him.
Santana Moss is back deep. Bouncing the snap was Zach Biasi. And this one will be handled by Moss on the 10. And 2 Giants wrestle him down. And he doesn't go down easy, and looks like a Giant on the field shaken up. Giant injury, and that's Zach Biasi, the long snapper, and he's up quickly. We'll take a break, and Kirk Cousins and the Redskins go to work, trailing 10-6.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado, strong for all the roads ahead. By the new windows, one experience for everything in your life. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Back here in rainy East Rutherford, New Jersey, 10-6. Tuck off to a good start in this game. And so Kirk Cousins, who's completed 7 of 18 for 55 yards. First down on the 14 of the Redskins. Alfred Morris. And loses the ball, and the Giants may get it. Cousins stripped of the ball. And unraveling the pile. No official signal given yet. Giants feel they have it, but maybe when Tuck says they have it, they do. And they do. The Giants force a fumble from Alfred Morris and will have the ball inside the Redskin 20. And the first turnover of the game by Washington gives the Giants a big break.
Took a long time for them to decipher who had that, but Alfred Morris clearly has this secure, but he hits his fullback going through that hole, Darrell Young, and the ball pops out. This slick ball, this wet conditions on the jerseys, the gloves, and this game could be one of those ones that gets really sloppy. We've already seen 2 bad exchanges, one from Curtis Painter in the center, a bad snap on the next punt, and then Washington's first possession, a fumble by their most reliable player, Alfred Morris.
He's had those problems, though, in the past, holding onto the ball and got the disadvantage of the rain. First down, Painter's pass through the hands of Julian Talley. And it'll be second down and 10. In a steady rain, and it's gotten a bit harder now since the start. It began about a couple hours before kickoff.
Yeah, that's a real pretty pitch there. Slippery ball. This ball came out of Curtis Painter's hand and was already tailing away. And then it hits him right in the mitts, and he can't hold on to it. It's going to be one of those deals, man. They're going to have to fight their way through these conditions the rest of the way.
So you love playing in these.
Oh, these are the ones you better put your hard hat on. This is going to be a tough day's work.
Second down and 10. Painter's pass up the middle. In and out of the hands of a receiver. Myers, I think, it is taken by Reed Dowdy. Reed Dowdy on a made-to-order interception. And the Redskins get it back. And that pass thrown into the end zone. And it looked like the Giants might get a touchdown. It was Myers, the tight end. And Dowdy brings it out. Redskins get the ball as the Giants turn it over for the 3rd time in the game. 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. And now the Redskins will have a first down on their 19. Giants seem to be in golden position at the 16 of Washington, and then the interception. First down for Kirk Cousins. Unable to get it to Aldrick Robinson. Let's see that interception once more.
Yeah, pay attention to London Fletcher right there in his last game. He actually gets pressure. The Redskins get pressure. Barry Cofield right up the gut, but London is beat here a little bit, but he turns back around, affects this ball just at the last second, and Mosley can't track it. Hits him in the chest and bounces right to Reed Dowdy. It was a good play by London Fletcher.
And Brandon Myers, the tight end, touched the ball at both of those interceptions. So it's second and 10. Morris going to lose a couple of yards, and a great play by Spencer Pasinger, the weak side linebacker. Let's send it down to Chris Budden.
Diggy, you couldn't tell by the water coming down off of my hat. The rain has really picked up in this second half. And I asked Mike Shanahan, what are you going to be able to do to move the ball in this weather? And he goes, Chris, that's a pretty good question. Our issues right now, he said, was being able to move the ball on 3rd down. As for the Giants, the injuries continue to harp this team. Eli Manning having x-rays during halftime. He is out with a ankle sprain along with Hakeem Nicks as well.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Hang in there. Great work today. Morris, meanwhile, 9 carries, only 15 yards. But this is a passing situation for Cousins. He completes it, but won't get the first down to Logan Paulson, who had a touchdown reception in the first game of the year against the Giants. And let's get a game break now from Joel Klatt. Joel.
All right, Dick, let's go to Atlanta. A Carolina loss and a New Orleans win later in the day would mean the Saints earn the 2 seed and a bye, and they are loving Roddy White. 39-yard TD catch, third of the season, 17-14 Falcons.
All right, Joel, thank you very much. And the punt by Rocca, the fair catch by Hosley. So the Atlanta Falcons, you talk about 2 disappointing teams that we have here today. Atlanta has to rank amongst the best in that department.
No doubt about it.
Giants have been plagued with the injuries all year long on offense, and it continues today. Eli Manning out with an ankle injury, was 10 for 25. 1 TD, 1 interception, and Hakeem Nicks and Reuben Randall, 2 receivers, are also out as well. And after Tampa Bay, the Giants have had more starters than anyone else in the league, and Tom Coughlin amazingly can still finish 7-9, which when you consider all of those key injuries would be an amazing record.
I think he recognizes it. We all recognize it, but like I said in our open, he is not using that as an excuse. They're trying to finish this season with whoever they have.
From the 24, Peyton Hill is straight ahead, and Golston is there, 2-yard pickup. So it's going to be interesting here with Painter starting in this second half in relief of Eli Manning. The Redskins, with that front 7, doing a pretty good job early on and trying to keep the game close with their defense against the backup quarterback.
I'll be really surprised if Kevin Gilbride continues to air this ball out with Curtis Painter in these weather conditions. This balls come out slick. Receivers can't hold on to it. They're going to have to run this football in the second half.
And it's play action. Rolling out to his right is Painter going downfield, and the pass is knocked away. And let's see if they ruled it incomplete, and they do. It was an incomplete pass. Lewis Murphy Jr. And now the players, again, we've had short tempers from early on in this game. And there's an injury on the field. The Giant is down, and it looks like Will Beatty, the left tackle. We'll check and see. So an injury, another one, and the Giants have had 3 so far in this game, and now number 4.
It's hard to tell what happened to Will there. He was coming in late into that play.
And it is Will Beatty.
Another injury for the Giants.
Timeout coming out. And injuries come in strange ways sometime. That was an incomplete pass. And on the cart, Will Beatty being taken off the field. So yet another Giant injury and another one to the offensive line. It doesn't seem to end.
This season can't end fast enough in this regard for the New York Giants. You see this ball just ricochet off Brandon Merriweather and D'Angelo Hall. And D'Angelo Hall tries to get out of the way of Will Beatty. And we have another angle of this. You might not want to look at it if you're squeamish, but see that right leg buckle there. It looks like I'm not going to speculate, but that might be a lower leg break or something. This Giants team has just been decimated by injuries all season, and again today with 4 guys now out.
Look at the changes. The Redskins sent one group on, now another group going off. Stephen Gooden from Nebraska Kearney is the new left tackle. He's number 79, so they've got a rookie at left tackle on 3rd down and 8. Andre Brown has come in the game for blocking purposes and running back, and this pass is incomplete. Jernigan is defended by Trenton Robinson. So 4th down, and the Giants will have to kick, and now it's going to be a game of attrition. Wouldn't you think, Rodney, the rest of the way?
Absolutely. These balls keep flying through the air. Good play there by Trenton Robinson, but these balls keep flying through the air. I don't think this game's going to take a long time in this wet conditions. Not going to be a lot of completions. I continue to say it. I'll say it again. Either one of these teams are going to have to establish a run game here in this second half, or we're going to be in for a long afternoon.
4th down, and Steve Weatherford kicking. Santana Moss. And Moss goes out of bounds. And the Redskins will get the ball, trailing the Giants 10-6. Well, tonight at 11, head over to America's new 24-hour sports network, Fox Sports 1, to see Jay and Dan on FS Live. the sports news and highlight show everyone is talking about, and they have a special, superb sense of humor. It's FS Live tonight at 11 on America's new 24-hour sports network, Fox Sports 1.
Think you could keep up with the wit of Jay and Dan?
I don't know if anyone can. It's different. Of course, you know, Canadians have a sense of humor which is unmistakable, and they bring that to the dance. From the 39, rolling out, downfield, catch is made by Garcon. Pierre Garcon, that may be the longest pass play by the Redskins today of 21 yards, and the 5th catch of the game for Garcon.
5th catch, he's done it in every game this year. You see him just running away from Prince Amukamara. But Kirk Cousins is the one that made this play happen. He boots out to his left, which is awkward for a right-hander, and makes a really strong throw.
First down on the 40-yard line of the Giants. Cousins in his 3rd start, going over 300 yards in all of them. And here is Morris. And Morris, with the 2nd effort, is driven back that time by Tuck with help from Mike Patterson. So Pierre Garcon becoming the 3rd receiver ever with 5 or more catches in every game in a 16-game season. And Jimmy Smith of Jacksonville, 2001, also did it today. And you ready for this? We have another injury down on the field, but your comment about Garcon, it looks like Tuck is shaken up.
Yeah, but I think he's going to get up and walk off. But can you talk about the season that Pierre Garcon has had this year? It's been pretty amazing. Justin Tuck here on this tackle is just, you know, it's one of those games. The field's slick. Just falling awkwardly, but he looks like he's all right. But to finish that thought on Pierre Garcon, 5 catches in every game on an offense that has really been struggling the entirety of this year when Robert Griffin was the quarterback, even with Kirk Cousins. But he's been the one reliable, the one constant. It's a shame, really, that this guy didn't make the Pro Bowl. He'll get I think he'll be the leading receiver in the league this year. It's a shame he's not going to get that designation to go represent the NFC.
2nd down and 9. Devontre Moore replaced Justin Tuck at defensive end. And there's a play-action pass, and it's off the hands of Aldrick Robinson. Might have been tipped by Antrell Roll. And it'll be 3rd down and 9. So look for the slippery conditions we've had all day. Near interceptions, deflected balls, passes that should be caught. You name it, it's been there. Tell me, what's the worst game you ever played in this kind of a condition, Robbie?
I don't know if I've played in one that's been this rainy, but there you can see nobody can handle the ball today. There'll be a lot of fumbles. There'll be a lot of incomplete passes, balls not being able to stick to receivers. Again, I'm shocked that Kyle Shanahan and Kevin Gilbride for New York are throwing the ball as much as they are today.
Yeah, that's really a surprise, but no one seems to run well. 3rd down and 9. There's a completion and a 1st down. And the Redskins, with Garcon battling for those extra yards.
If you want to throw it to one person in these conditions, it better be number 88 with the white jersey on. He is the most sure-handed guy on this Redskins roster. Look how tight that spiral is going through the rain there. That's a good picture by our crew and a nice catch by Pierre Garcon to getting that first down.
And it's the first down of the game for the Redskins on a 3rd down situation. Here is Morris off the right side breaking a tackle, and Morris will have another one. He broke the tackle of Jaquan Williams, and the Redskins are rolling. Joel Klatt with a game break.
All right, Dick, let's go down to Atlanta. Cam Newton has come back in this ball game. How about this fastball? The strike to Greg Olsen, 7 yards. Olsen 6 of the season. And the Panthers are up by 4, 21-17 in the 3rd quarter. Back to New York, Dick and Rondé.
Wild game, and the Panthers getting all they can handle from the Falcons.
Division game into the year.
So much riding at stake. Carolina wants to wrap up the division. They're in the playoffs, so 1st down. And the handoff to Darrell Young, and the fullback getting a couple of yards with under 7 minutes to go in the 3rd. It'll be 2nd down for the Redskins, trying to take the lead, and they would with a touchdown here.
Kyle Shanahan being a little bit more creative here in the 2nd half of this offense. It seems like that 1st half, all they were trying to run were zone cutbacks and and there was no room there for Alfred Morris, but saw that bounce play on that Alfred Morris long run a second ago. The quick dive there by fullback. It's getting a little bit more interesting now.
No question. Now Garcon to the left. You see him, number 88, on 2nd and 8. Cousins is looking that way and gets hit from behind. And it's Justin Tuck who came back in the game, was out for a play or two, and Tuck got a hand in a loose ball and a recovery by the Giants, and they get it back. It's a fumble. So Joseph recovers a fumble for the Giants, and they stop the Redskins surge and get the ball back.
See from the left here, Justin Tuck getting that sack fumble. The old empty hand rule. This is definitely a caused fumble by Justin Tuck. Just ran around.
Ball was coming loose in his hand before the arm came forward, and you see how close it was to a face mask. I was looking at Tuck's right hand and how close it was to getting the mask.
Under review.
And all turnovers, as you know, are under review. 4 sacks in the first game against the Redskins. And we're going to take a break and find out whether indeed, look how close that was. Got the Bill Vinovich, the ruling on the field is that it was a fumble recovered by the Giants. And the booth review has been made, and tell you, Linville Joseph did a great job assuming that
After reviewing the
could be a
play,
fumble.
the ruling on the field stands. First down.
See, Linville Joseph didn't know whether it was going to be an interception or an incomplete pass. Alertly went after the ball, and a recovery is made. Let's bring in Mike Pereira from L.A. Mike.
Hey, you know, Dick, it's interesting because if you watch the arm, the elbow actually had started forward, but the ball was loose in his hand before the hand starts forward. Then it ended up being pushed forward. So he correctly stayed with the pass because it's really kind of that old empty hand thing. No control of the ball when the actual hand started forward.
Thank you, Mike. So the Giants get the ball back. First down on their 12. Hand off to Peyton Hillis. And Hillis gets out to the 15. Perry Riley Jr. is there. 3-yard gain. Let's see that play.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins. See what Mike's talking about. The elbow starting to go forward. But Justin Tuck affects that ball. He can't even push it out because he gets that hand in his chest. But this turnover is all on Kirk Cousins. He had 2 guys open early in that down. Pierre Garcon was running across the middle, but he had locked in on Nick Williams and just took him too long to release it. Justin Tuck out there for the sack.
Second sack for Tuck. Remember, he had 4 in the first game between these teams. 2nd and 7. Here's Hillis. And no gain. So it'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Giants. Leading 10-6. We have had 5 turnovers in the game. And the Redskins have been the only team to really, so far, take advantage of the turnovers, getting field goals on a Giant fumble and then an interception by Eli Manning.
You got all 11 Redskins within 6-7 yards of the field right here, making it look like it's going to be an all-out pressure. Curtis Painter's changing the play because of it.
But because of the injured ankle, Manning out in the second half, and Painter is in there, and this pass is tipped away by Trenton Robinson, the former 49er. Intended for Lewis Murphy Jr. 4th down, and the Giants will have to kick inside the 10.
They were showing that pressure, but then you see Trenton Robertson bounce out to a half-field look in the secondary. Curtis Painter thought he had something. He didn't. The Redskins had dropped into a zone. It wasn't an all-out pressure. Trenton Robinson in there makes a good play, knocks it away on 3rd down.
Santana Moss looking for a good spot for the Redskins to start their next offensive series. Steve Weatherford with a kick, and a good kick. Moss dancing his way and will go down at about the 43-yard line. Let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture on this final regular season weekend. And the question is, will Baltimore get in? Miami trying to wrap it up. San Diego, Pittsburgh even has a shot. They need a lot of help. Cincinnati clinch their division. And, of course, the Bengals in a 17-17 tie with Baltimore now early in the fourth quarter. Bengals can still get a first-round bye. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to give a test, aren't we, Rondi, to the audience?
God, I would fail miserably. Unbelievable that Pittsburgh even has a chance after this start that they had. But you got to have some advanced trigonometry to figure out which one of these teams is going to win by the end of the day.
First down for the Redskins. And here's Alfred Morris. And Morris, with his best run of the game, has a first down. And getting inside the Giant 40-yard line. Morris's biggest gain was 14 yards until that 19-yard play. And another first down for Washington.
Alfred Morris running off that left edge. Their stretch play, going to get in a hurry-up offense here for the Redskins. A good job by offensive line creating a hole there finally for Alfred Morris.
And here's Morris again. Morris with a good move getting inside the 35. Patterson and Beeson are there. 5-yard gain, bringing up second down.
Need to see more of this from Washington and Kyle Shanahan. Keep feeding this guy the ball. This, like I said, these conditions are awful. It just keeps getting worse. Let this dude do the work for you.
Good dude. You fake to him once in a while, and you can throw to nobody. And that incomplete pass intended for Garcon. Pressure by Keith Rivers on that play. Not a bad thing out of the playbook.
You know what? I'm about to get killed by Keith Rivers. I'm going to throw this ball at nobody. Yeah, he was looking for Pierre Garcon, but the pressure was in his face right away.
Come on.
He actually did a good job getting rid of it.
Think of a rainy day you played in. Come on now.
Oh, I'm trying to think. You know, we've had some rough ones in Tampa. It wasn't cold like this. This is miserable.
You played in Green Bay, though, didn't you?
I played in Green Bay. It was really cold.
They were in your division, maybe, right? 3rd and 5. Cousins off the hands and an interception. The Giants get it back, and it's Tremaine McBride on a tip ball. And the 6th turnover of the game. A 17-yard return by McBride off of the deflection. And, of course, they review everything, and each team now has turned it over 3 times.
Santana Moss, he's trying to get this ball to, working on Carl Thomas, but like we've seen all day today, it is almost impossible with this wet ball, wet gloves, to hold on to a lot of these catches. As long as these teams continue to put this ball in the air, we're going to see some more plays like this, and this is a good job by Tremaine McBride getting his arms, hands underneath that ball. This will stand as an interception for the Giants.
So even, you know, when you have the slippery ball and you have the drops on interceptions that are clean, and then you have the deflections that are up for grabs for anyone. So the Giants will start on the 42-yard line.
Did you say this was a game of attrition earlier?
I did.
Can you say that again?
I will. I want to wait for the fourth quarter. It'll have more impact there. First down. In motion is Jernigan to the right. And here is Peyton Hillis. Grabbing at it is Reed Dowdy. 1-yard gain. Okay, forget about, you won't talk about rainy days. What's the coldest game you were in?
The coldest game was in Green Bay. We played there, I can't remember, but Martin Gramatica was the kicker, and he missed a last-second field goal. We started the game, it was like 14 degrees. The sun was out. It was actually kind of beautiful. And then the sun went down, and it may have been the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Kind of beautiful.
Sunny day in Green Bay at Lambeau. That's
great.
Ain't nothing better, buddy.
Any game in Green Bay is great. Second down and 9. Rolling out this time to his left is Painter, lofts it to Myers. And Myers holding on to it. Giants are still going to need about 7.5 yards for the first down. And we wind down close to 2 minutes to go in the third.
Dick, I wonder how many snaps Curtis Painter took this week. You know, it seems like a lot of the plays are just this playbook is real simple for him right now. It seems like Peyton Hillis has run the same run. He's had a couple of boot plays out of the pocket. It'll be interesting to see as this fourth quarter gets underway here in 2 minutes, how much of the offense he's allowed to run.
Good point. 3rd down and 6. Short drop, slant, another tip ball. and it was tipped off the hands of Perry Riley Jr. So it'll be 4th down and 6. Injuries have played a big role as far as this, along with the slippery ball today. And for more, here's Chris.
Yeah, you saw Will Beatty take off on the cart. He has a broken leg. As for Jarvis Jenkins, he's back out there after being evaluated for a concussion. And Josh Wilson, he is out for the rest of the game. He has a left calf strain. He was originally evaluated for a concussion as well, but he's okay with that, but now suffering from the left calf strain.
All right, a laundry list from Chris Button. Steve Weatherford. Santana Moss will let it bounce. And now picks it up at the 5 as he gets hit and tackled right around the 5. And it was Julian Talley. Talley nearly blocked a kick earlier. Now he makes this play.
Yeah, been some aggressive special teams play today. Neither one of these units has been pretty good, but they've been good today. This is actually a good play to be by Santana Moss. If he doesn't field that ball, it's going to be spotted down at the 1-yard line by one of those Giants closing in on this. Yeah, he saved them about 5-6 yards there. So you don't usually tell him to field a kick inside the 10-yard line. When that ball floating up in there, I think it was a good decision by him to actually catch it.
It's never automatic, and there's a guy that knows what to do. He's had a lot of experience.
Yes, he has. You trust a guy like that to make those decisions.
From the 5-yard line, Cousins, who's 10 of 25, hasn't even thrown for 100 yards yet. Alfred Morris, neat return out close to the 10-yard line. Well, we've got a big schedule of games, critical ones later on. Joel Klatt, what's on the menu?
Well, Dick, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in the 188th meeting between the Packers and the Bears. Rodgers back from that collarbone fracture, back on the field for the NFC North Division title, win and go home. It's America's Game of the Week, and it's on Fox. Back to New York, Dick and Rondé.
All right, thank you very much. And it's all for the NFC North title, and there's Morris split wide to the right on 2nd down and 6. And this pass incomplete and intended for Garcon. I want to ask you, Rondé, with Aaron Rodgers coming back today, what's it like to be out that long, critical game, Soldier Field? It's not an automatic by any means.
You know, Aaron's been trying to come back for the past couple of weeks, so he's been getting practice reps. I think he's ready mentally. Physically, that'll be a completely different deal for me if I'm them or the Packers. How's he going to take his first hit? I mean, is he going to slide when he gets pressure? Last thing he wants to do is break that collarbone again.
3rd and 6. Redskins 1 for 12 in 3rd down situations. Roy Halou Jr. now in the backfield with Cousins. Under a minute to go in the 3rd. And out of the backfield, pass caught by Halou. And Paysinger there to make the tackle. And close to the 1st down. Let's see where the spot is.
Right on the line there.
1st down.
You said that 1 for 12 before that on 3rd down. I got my little computer here. That says that's 8%. God, this is an ugly day for the Redskins, but
you knew that without a computer, I bet.
No, I did not know that without a computer. I am UVA educated. I did not know that.
And you went to the University of Virginia, so you have to know everything. So, a timeout, flag, and an injury player. Let's see, a challenge.
New York is challenging the spot with regard to a 1st down.
And that's a really good challenge for something like this. Otherwise, the Redskins would have to kick. We're going to take a timeout. Halou, did he get enough for the 1st down? Back here at MetLife Stadium, Tom Coughlin challenging the ruling on the field that the Redskins got a 1st down on that pass. The 3rd down pass it was.
I agree with you, Dick. This is a really good challenge. There, the line to gain is right at the 15-yard line. And Paysinger looks to me like he brings Halou down just before that line. This is, in fact, a 4th down situation for Washington. Yeah, this is a great challenge by Tom Coughlin. Puts him in a backed-up situation. They'll get some favorable field position after a punt if they do punt.
Here's Bill Vinovich. with his ruling.
After reviewing the play, the runner had to get to the 15-yard line. He is short of the 15-yard line. It'll be 4th down and a half inch.
And they're going to send the punting team on. Great challenge, and they overturn the ruling. No first down, 4th and inches.
Yeah, Roy Halou right there coming out of the backfield. Our little yellow line tells the tale. This ball doesn't even get close to it.
Knees
we
down.
see it from this. The knees down, well short of that line with the ball. Good challenge, Tom.
So here's Sav Rocca. See if the Giants come in strong on Rocca kicking from the goal line. And the kick just getting it off. Came close. Here's Hosley on the return. And he edges his way into Redskin territory at the 48-yard line. And an injury. Reed Doughty shaken up a bit. It was Marcus Doughton, a little pressure on the block, and they very nearly got it. Well, Friday, January 10th, get ready for the new Fox comedy Enlisted, about 3 brothers trying to get this platoon in shape to be the best that they can be. Enlisted premieres Friday, January 10th, only on Fox. 2 seconds remain in the third quarter. And a first down for the Giants to mark it at the 49 of the Redskins, leading 10-6. And the end around to Jernigan. Jernigan looking for running room, gets it, first down, still going, inside the 20. Jernigan down the sideline, is in for the touchdown. Jarrell Jernigan has been the Giant offense, it seems, for the last couple of weeks. His second touchdown of the game, the first as a receiver in this 49-yard play.
He's certainly been their offense today. I don't know how he gets through this. A couple of missed tackles, arm tackles, just guys just grabbing at him. You know, Giants weren't getting anything out of their run game up the middle with Peyton Hillis. Kevin Gilbride digs it deep into his playbook. We were asking that question a little bit ago, runs the reverse. And Jarrell Jernigan pays him off big time with that spectacular touchdown run.
Didn't do much early part of the year, but in the last 3, wow. Josh Brown, and Brown makes the extra point just inside the right upright. And the Giants lead it 17-6, and that is the end of the third quarter here at MetLife Stadium. And the fans who are here love what they're seeing on that play. And Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Jarrell Jernigan accepting congratulations, and why not? 2 touchdowns, including that great end-around 49-yard run. And the Giants on one play get the touchdown to make it 17-6. We start the fourth quarter. Dick Stockton here with Rondé Barber and Chris Budden. And Nick Williams is back. And if the Giants hold on to their lead, they ought to give a game ball to Tom Coughlin. Should give one to himself for that great challenge. And on the return, Nick Williams carries it out close to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, go back to that sequence. Tom Coughlin, he knew right away, I think, that this was not a first down. Roy Halou is down on the 14.5-yard line, and then Jarrell Jernigan on this reverse. Missed tackles by Golston, Reed Doughty, and Perry Riley Jr. Gets him into the open field. Emerson and Fletcher can't catch him, and that is, they walk to the sideline after that, looking very dejected as a defense.
From the 29-yard line, Aldrick Robinson in motion to the left. Play action for Cousins, and the pass is caught by Logan Paulson and ridden out of bounds by Spencer Pasinger. Pickup of 4 yards. So it'll be second down on the play. So Jernigan with a 24-yard catch of an Eli Manning pass, and then a 49-yard end around.
Amazing how big plays in games kind of put this out of reach here. This game seems so tight, back and forth, turnover after turnover, nobody being able to run the ball, and then that huge play by the Giants offense. All of a sudden, it's an 11-point lead.
Second down and 6. And the pitch to Morris. Morris has not gotten on track today. his longest run from scrimmage, 19 yards, averaging a little over 4, and that time it was Linval Joseph with Jonathan Hankins, rookie from Ohio State.
Nowhere to go. The penetration, you'll see it as soon as he gets the toss here. Jenkins. Hankins. Everybody for the Giants. Closing in on Alfred Morris.
Redskins have only 64 yards, Rondé, rushing today. The Giants a respectable 88, considering didn't look like anyone was really running the ball well. 3rd and 8. And a 3rd down situation. And this pass is caught by Robinson, and a 1st down, only the 2nd 3rd down conversion of the game for Washington.
Aldrick Robinson there at the top of your screen. Just see him push out on his DB, find some space in there in that zone coverage. 57 for the Giants. Jacqueline Williams comes up, bites up a little bit, and Aldrick Robinson finds some room for that 1st down.
First catch of the game. 1st down, Cousins. Off his back foot, throws it out of bounds. 2nd down and 10. Kirk Cousins started last year and won a game for the Redskins, and then Mike Shanahan deciding to sit Robert Griffin III, even though his surgically repaired knee was good enough to play. Robert Griffin III never was really ready to go early in the year. Didn't have much of a camp. Struggled early. And there's a whole story regarding quarterback situation and the coaching situation. This pass will be caught by Paulson. He'll be short of the 1st down by 2 yards. So the Redskins, I think there's going to be I've got to be an upheaval. We know that there's going to be changes in the roster. 7 of 11 starters on defense are free agents. Questions to some of the people on offense as well. And will Mike Shanahan be around? Robert Griffin III is their quarterback that they're counting on. He's got that magnetic personality and the legs, but can't run forever as a quarterback.
No, at some point he's going to have to be a quarterback. Continue to say that about him. Kirk Cousins getting his audition today these past 3 weeks.
If not for the Redskins, for someone else. And 3rd and 2, and Garcon claiming that he was interfered with by Amukamara, but no flag is thrown.
There was definitely some contact there. This is the matchup. Amukamara followed around Calvin Johnson last week, and man, that's
got a point.
He had a hold of his back arm. That should have been a flag there, but they didn't call it. But the Redskins are going to go for this on 4th and 2, and I think they absolutely have to.
I would think.
Bold decision, not really. This is we can't get anything on offense. Let's just go.
4th and 2, last game of the year. You've won 3 games. You're on the 47 of the Giants. What are we talking about? And an incomplete pass intended for Aldrick Robinson. He was there, and that'll be Giant ball taking over on downs. And with just under 12 minutes to go in the game and in the season, Robinson might have been able to make that catch, but remember that ball's wet. Wet. And more wet. 1st down on the 47. Giants taking over on downs after the Redskins failed on 4th down. Here's Peyton Hillis straight ahead. And Hillis getting 6 yards on 1st down. A lot of games coming down to the wire and a lot of interesting happenings around the league.
Take that AFC playoff picture.
Ooh.
Man, Pittsburgh needs to win, and they need 3 losses. I'm calling it right now. Baltimore losing to Cincy. Miami getting beat by the Jets.
How about
San Diego plays Kansas City later. All of them lose. Pittsburgh sneaks into the playoffs.
Well, they're winning 20-7 with 2 minutes to go in the game. The Steelers are. 2nd down and 4. And here's Hillis again. And he gets close to the 1st down. Reed Dowdy. And it's very close to 1st down yardage. Cincinnati's leading Baltimore 27-17. And, you know, the Bengals, we talked about them last week. You know, that is a team that wouldn't be a shock if they got to the this stadium in 5 weeks.
Not at all to me. Andy Dalton plays well. He has all those receivers, and that defense, top 5 Mike Zimmer's defense, that's a really interesting team here once the postseason comes along. They got to prove it, though. They've been there twice in a row and haven't been able to do it so far.
True. 3rd down and inches. Here's Hillis, first down for the Giants. Peyton Hillis has come in and really played, except for one play. Andre Brown fumbled early in the game. Brown started, but Hillis has come on and has carried the ball.
And I think we'll see a lot of him in the next 10 minutes of this game, or their possessions in these next 10 minutes. You got an 11-point lead. No reason to let Curtis Painter, who's 2 of 8 so far, obviously hadn't taken a lot of snaps in this offense, try to throw the ball in this game. Just let Peyton Hillis beat it down the Redskins, test their will here as the game goes on.
And that's what it would be in the rain and the wet, finishing a 3-win year. Hillis has carried 13 times. And a timeout called by the Giants. Total yardage story here, and the Giants leading 17-6, the only points by the Redskins on 2 field goals by Kai Forbath. Andre Brown has returned to the game. So Hillis goes out after carrying 13 times, 44 yards. Jernigan goes in motion, and here is Jernigan with the carry. Boy, he's got speed. Looks like a heady offensive player. Let's see some Jernigan highlights. He got 8 on that one.
He's been the breakout star, if we can call it that, here these past 3 weeks for the Giants. The comeback there on Josh Wilson. Then the big gainer early in the deal. The touchdown throw, the perfect throw and catch by him. And then this run, breaking tackles on this beleaguered Redskins defense, really putting this game out of reach early in the 4th quarter, or actually end of the 3rd quarter as we went into the 4th quarter.
So Jernigan in his 3rd year from Troy in Alabama, really finishing on a huge note for the Giants in this year. 2nd down and 2, and Hillis, who's come back in, barrels his way off tackle for the 1st down, gets 5 more yards with under 9 minutes to go.
Got to give a lot of credit here to this Giants offensive line. These last 2 or 3 possessions, really starting to see that push up front. Peyton Hillis just burying himself behind there and getting some positive yardage. And here are those Jarrell Jernigan numbers, 59 yards on that one run. But those 90 yards receiving, it's been a constant here these past couple of weeks for these Giants, is his production as a wide receiver with Victor Cruz out.
1st down. Fumble. Misconnection from the center, and falling on it is Painter. Curtis Painter, by the way, playing the 2nd half for Eli Manning, who has an ankle injury and limped off in the waning stages of the 2nd quarter. And Kevin Gilbride, all wet and on the phone, talking to his team. Look at all that, the plays covered in acetate. Can't read them with all that wet, but tell you what, Gilbride's had his work cut out for him this year, and his offense.
You don't all of a sudden become a bad coordinator. He's had a string of very successful years. And he had a lot of mitigating factors contribute to the poor performance this year.
2nd and 11, and here's Hillis trying to go outside. Gets the 1st down, and pushed out of bounds by Reed Dowdy, and gets 14 yards. Good block by John Connor, the fullback, to free Hillis.
You'll see the Redskin player coming off this side, but he gets the block by his fullback. It frees him up. Actually tried to slow down and get down before he went out of bounds. You don't want to stop the clock in this situation. Actually, he didn't get out of bounds. He allowed himself to be pushed out of bounds, so the clock keeps running. Smart move there by Peyton Hillis.
And a 1st down on the 15 of the Redskins. Giants leading by 11, looking to pad that. 7 minutes to go in the 4th, and this time Hillis is knocked back for a loss by Chris Baker of 4 yards. You know, the Giants, we talk about the Redskins and what kind of an overhaul we're going to see there. The Giants are going to have it too. You know, they have 30 players whose contracts expire, of the 64 active and on the injured list as well.
Nice play there by Chris Baker, shooting that gap.
But the Giants are going to have to make some big decisions as well.
Yeah, none bigger than their second receiver or their leading receiver, supposedly Hakeem Nicks, who'd be a free agent after this year, saying though that he wants to stay. Look for some stability with the Giants.
Here's Andre Brown. Brown giving Hillis a breather here, and London Fletcher making the stop. Giants free agents, and we know that Tuck, and we know that Nicks wants to stay here. David Deal, who's said it's a little emotional here, hopes that this isn't his last game in a Giant uniform. We talked about Nicks and Tuck, and what is this club going to look like? You know, the running back situation looms large. You wonder about David Wilson with his neck problems. 3rd down and 13. Here's Brown, and he'll be knocked back. So 4th down coming up, and Josh Brown will come on to attempt a field goal. He's 1 for 2 thus far today.
See all those Giant free agents. You can have a game or a season like they've had this year, and it's not just one problem. It's a lot of problems. Coach Coughlin, actually, I got to pat him on the back a little bit with what he's been able to do here. That 0-6 start, and they didn't look like they had a chance to do anything, but he got them back into playoff contention there for a heartbeat.
38-yard field goal try by Josh Brown, and the kick is good, and the Giants, with Josh Brown's 38-yard field goal, his 2nd of the game, and now leading 20-6. So Tom Coughlin's, this is what he's all about. How do you represent yourself? Well, the Giants doing a good job these last 2 games.
Today's game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Order online now from Pizza Hut. Make it great.
Back here in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. And 5 weeks from today will be Super Bowl 48 right here on Fox. Weather obviously would be a factor. This is one of the elements that would be in this involved. Here is Nick Williams on the kick return. It'll be an adventure whatever it is, and Williams is clobbered by Herzlich on the return. You have to really talk about the Giants and how they're going to finish 7-9 if everything stays the same on the year. Playing hard after an 0-6 start. Pretty good. Redskins trying to stay warm, trying to keep their hands covered, jumping up and down, rain and chill.
They got 4 minutes and 46 seconds in this miserable season. See if I can go on a positive note here.
They have to do something though. 1st and 10 on the 26-yard line, and Tremaine McBride. Well, since Dan Snyder's been the owner of the Washington Redskins, here a list of his head coaches. The only one with the winning record was the first one he had, which was Norv Turner, who he inherited. And there are the others. And he's going for the, the great Joe Gibbs coming back, Steve Spurrier, Mike Shanahan, who still has 1 year left on his contract officially. 2nd down and 10. Cousins nearly intercepted by Jaquan Williams, and so that has to be the 5th or 6th we've had right in the hands of a defender. Well, your thoughts on the Redskin coaching situation?
Oh, it's been a little crazy. Tried to hire some bigger names. This team has been chalked with talent for years, but it hasn't translated into playoffs. Obviously, not any championships. Mike Shanahan taking the brunt of this season's. The fault for this season. I think the heads are going to lay very easily after this 2013 season is over with.
3rd down pass is caught by Aldrick Robinson, and it will be a 1st down for the Redskins. Good catch over Tremaine McBride there.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins hasn't been great today, but Tremaine actually almost looked like he had a chance for an interception there, but the ball falls right in there. Really good throw and good concentration and catch there on the sideline by Aldrick Robinson.
And the Redskins, of course, don't have their #1 draft pick. It could be 2, could be 3. That's owned by the St. Louis Rams. His Cousins pass, incomplete, intended for Nick Williams. So, you know, they decided to make the big trade for Robert Griffin III with the Rams, involving the big picks, and the Rams benefiting by that are going to have a great pick, and this is a team that's becoming a bigger factor in the very tough NFC West. And so Robert Griffin III, who was shut down but healthy now, and it's going to be tough for him to sit out these last 3.
Oh, I know he's not happy. I asked him about it briefly when I was on the field, and he just kind of shook his head and said, do what I'm supposed to do.
And here's Cousins' pass, and making the catch is Logan Paulson to midfield and a first down. Let's go out to L.A. to Joel Klatt in the game break. Joel.
All right, Dick, let's go to Cincinnati. Joe Flacco trying to bring the Ravens back, but he's picked off by Dre Kirkpatrick. That's going to seal the deal. The world champs not going to go to the playoffs. Down 34-17 at the 2-minute warning. Pittsburgh won. Means the Ravens are going home. Dick.
All right, Ravens going home. Cincinnati could still get one of the top 2 slots in the AFC. Here's the first down, and Cousins pass, and it's caught by Santana Moss, and over him is Abuka Mara right away. And you know, this game 20-6, and with an onside kick possibility if they get a touchdown. With the wet weather, you never know.
Could be. You'd see Robert Griffin there. I think it was good though that they shut him down. This season was lost, and he was not the same guy that we saw last season.
Well, 2nd and 6, tip ball, and Morrison still trying to make the grab on it, and it was tipped by DeMontre Moore. So Robert Griffin III, he's the future, I guess, huh?
He's absolutely the future, and that knee brace that he was wearing on his right knee, a lot of people saying that it was hampering him. To me, it looked like it hampered him all year. We had them 2 games early in the season, and normally quarterbacks wear that knee brace on their left knee. Him having him on that right knee really affected the way he threw his ball. He couldn't step into it because that's his push leg. So he'll get healthy and be back, hopefully, to his old form next season.
3rd down and 6. And dropping the pass is Roy Halou Jr. And 4th down and 6, and the Redskins obviously will go for it here on 4th and 6.
Yeah, the Giants bring pressure here, but nobody accounts for Roy Halou. Man, you just got to bring these balls in. That's one of the situations you see him looking at his hands. It's wet. We know it. You can still see the rain coming down in our picture here. It's one of those days, man. Nothing's easy when the rain is beating down this hard. It's this cold, and to be honest with you, you got to feel like the Redskins are just shaking their hands, shaking their heads.
4th down and 6 on the 46 of the Giants. And the pass whistle and a stoppage of play. Flag down at the 46.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 20. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So it's now 4th and 1. So Prince Amukamara.
Yeah, Prince threw his hands up at Aldrick Robertson. I'm sorry, not Aldrick Robertson, but at Nick Williams. Tried to get him to jump off sides, jump back. It was a good call by the officials.
So as a result of the penalty, it's now a 4th and 1. And diving forward and not getting the yardage was Roy Halou Jr. and Justin Tuck, who's said it's going to be an emotional finish for him, wants to come back. 2 sacks today, has had a brilliant game, really, at defensive end.
Yeah, really good defensive play by the Giants. Into the game, they're winning. Justin Tuck, that defense, not ready to quit on this game or this season. Now that 0-6 start to be followed by what looks like to be 7 of 10 wins. Yep. You got to get pat on the back. I said that earlier about Coach Coughlin. He's gotten this team to play hard the entire season through a lot of adversity, a lot of those turnovers that we mentioned, the 27 interceptions by Eli. It's been good for them.
Yeah, there's no question about it. A bad year for Eli in a lot of ways, and the Giants end up 7-9 as Hillis is knocked back for a loss by Chris Baker. So there's another flag down. see if there's a horse collar involved on this play. And London Fletcher playing out his final minutes right in the discussion.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense number 92. Horse collar tackle. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So a personal foul on Chris Baker. 15-yard penalty will be marked off. But
that's interesting. This contact was made close to inside the tackle box. You know, if you pull his collar before he's outside the tackle box, it's not a horse collar. You can hear it up here. Some of those Redskins saying that he was in the tackle box.
So it'll be a Giants first down on the Redskin 47 with 3:28 to go. Curtis Painter handing off to Andre Brown. A lot coming up later. America's Game of the Week, and to give you the rundown, once again, here's Joel Klatt.
That's right, Dick. And back on the field, Aaron Rodgers for the Green Bay Packers after his collarbone is healed up. The 188th meeting between the Bears and Packers. It's win or go home. Jay Cutler is 1-7 as a Bear against the Green Bay Packers. It's America's Game of the Week. It's on Fox, and it's next. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Joel, the winner of this game wins the NFC North Championship. The loser is out of the playoffs, and our hats are off to the Carolina Panthers, who defeated the Atlanta Falcons in a rough, tough game, 21-20. They are the NFC South champions and will receive a first-round bye. Well-deserved for Ron Rivera's crew this year, and not expected, to say the least. 2nd and 12. Here's Brown again, and he gets to the 45. Well, back to, we mentioned the Redskins trade with the Rams to get Robert Griffin III, and tell you, he was drafted 2nd overall, and this is what the Rams got in exchange.
Now, the first-round picks, currently going to be the 2nd pick in this year's draft. I think it was a good trade for Washington. They got a dynamic player.
How about the Rams?
But the Rams
how about some of the players?
Certainly got the better end of this deal.
Michael Brockers, defensive tackle. Zach Stacy, running back. Linebacker Alec Ogletree. Isaiah Peed, who you'll be hearing a lot about, the running backs. Edmund Bailey. And if the Redskins go on to lose and Houston wins, the Rams will receive the first overall pick in the draft coming up as Andre Brown with the run. Giants keeping it on the ground exclusively, and not a bad idea. Their last field goal that they got, all 11 plays were runs, and they're doing it again. So the updated NFC playoff pictures, Carolina clinches the division, so they're going to get a bye. New Orleans wins, and they're in. Arizona could go 11-5 and not make the playoffs. They could beat the 49ers, but if the Saints win, Arizona's on the outside looking in.
Yeah, some huge games this afternoon. We talked about the AFC picture. I think the big game in that conference is going to be Kansas City versus San Diego. But that New Orleans, Tampa Bay, they can't be at home and lay an egg and then let Arizona slip in.
4th down and 5. Steve Weatherford with the kick. Santana Moss going to let it bounce, actually be caught by a Giant at the 5. And so the Giants hemming in the Redskins again. Charles James, and the Redskins will start from the 5-yard line. Well, the Miami Dolphins lost to the Jets 20-7 at home. Ravens lost, so the Ravens and the Dolphins are out. You mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers. They could get in there somehow.
The Steelers started 2-6. So much going wrong up in Pittsburgh, and finished the season 6-2 to finish 8-8. And if Kansas City beats San Diego, I'm calling it. Pittsburgh sneaks into the playoffs.
Well, San Diego wins. They're in the playoffs, but if KC beats San Diego, Pittsburgh is in the last spot in the 5-team tie. And from the end zone, this pass, and Nick Williams did not have control as he goes out of bounds.
That was the best throw that Kirk Cousins has made all day right there. He had time in the pocket. He just fired this thing in between 3 Giant defenders, but Nick Williams didn't have possession of it. And as you saw in that picture, his left foot was on the line when he made the catch.
Well, the Jets, for those fans in New York, Rex Ryan looks like
yeah, could have saved his deal too.
Going to keep his address going. There's the pass, incomplete. Amukamara, I should say, on a good hit on Santana Moss. Incomplete, bringing up 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, Amukamara put a nice little hit on Santana Moss. This ball is completed in his chest, but take a listen to it. Yeah, hitting hard. This Giants team came to play today, especially on defense, limiting these Skins to 207 yards so far today. It's been a banner effort. Hadn't been great on offense for them today, but their defense has really came to play.
3rd down and 10. Hello, and he'll be shy of the first down by a yard. Jaquan Williams making the first down saving play with 2:40 to go. So it is 4th down, and the Redskins bring in Morris along with Darrell Young, the fullback. Fred Davis, the tight end, in as well. So 4th and 1. Go for it one more time from the 14. And it's Darrell Young. Looks like he's got the forward progress for the first down. And we'll get to the 2-minute warning as well. 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter in the season finale. Kirk Cousins and Curtis Painter in relief of the injured Eli Manning. It's 20-6 Giants, and we'll return in a moment. Hey, you come to MetLife Stadium, you get a free shower. And that's what these guys did today. And the shower went on and on and on and on. And almost done with this. Well, Rondé Barber, by the way, Tiki Barber was who I was thinking about, who played for the Giants. Am I right? Your twin brother. Anyway, first year, you're not a rookie anymore. This is the last. Of all the people that I have broken in, and there have been many of them, I think no one has shown promise as much as you. And well, tell me what your take is of your first year.
I think you got a future in this, Dick.
No,
this has been great for me. It's been unbelievable to be able to work with you. You're a Hall of Famer at what you do. We have a great producer and director down the truck, all our support staff, Tavis and Jason, all those guys, Ben Toder.
Eric Biltmeyer, our producer, and Jeremy Green, our director, completed past Aldrich Robinson. Tell me your impressions, though, in doing this. You know, you're down on the field for so many years, a great career, talk about Hall of Fame, what's to do, what's to come for you, and then to be up here.
Yeah, you know, the weeks of preparation is not that dissimilar than what I did when I was a player, studying film, really diving into the game. I love that about it. You know, it's been a challenge, obviously, learning how to deliver the message. You know, kind of really dumb it down. You know, because I know a lot about football, playing 16 years. But being able to make it an entertaining broadcast has been fun. You've given me a lot. You've helped me a lot along the way, and it's been great, man. It's been a fun ride.
You've had a lot of coaches in your life and a lot of good ones in the NFL, but you had to do it, and I'm glad you enjoy it, because not everyone likes to, really, do all the work to do these games week in and week out. And it's been a pleasure indeed. Alfred Morris getting it out close to the 30-yard line, and another Redskin first down with 1:20 to go. But we've had a great support group with our Fox production and crew. As we mentioned, Eric and Jeremy and all the guys in there.
Yeah, it's been awesome working with Chris Budden, getting to know her as well. This is we've been fortunate. We've been very fortunate. I've been very fortunate.
And of course, up in the booth, Rick Odioso and Bill Garrity. Corey Lichtensteiger is the shaken-up Redskin. We'll take a timeout. So Eli Manning suffered an ankle injury, and Hakeem Nicks and several other Giants as well. They left the game. 11 drop passes and 6 turnovers marked the game, but don't tell Jarrell Jernigan about the bad weather, because nothing fazed him today, as you see Lichtensteiger being worked on. Jernigan with a 49-yard touchdown end-around run, and he caught a 24-yard pass from Manning as well. Adam Geddes has replaced Lichtensteiger, and overthrowing Logan Paulson is Cousins, who is now 19, get this, for 46, 169 yards.
Yeah, for a game that was really close most of the day, to have that many pass attempts is really kind of shocking. This weather started bad, and it got worse, then it got cold. That's why you saw all those drop passes. It's been an ugly day for Washington Redskins offense.
And an ugly season for the Washington Redskins, who will finish losing 8 in a row. They've not lost 8 in a row since 1961. This pass is going to be dropped, almost intercepted by Antrell Roll. And finishing last in the NFC East for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. 17 contracts are up. Mike Shanahan's future will be decided, I guess, sooner than later.
This ball, Antrell Roll, who has 6 interceptions on the year, 2nd in the NFL, drops this easy one. Yeah. This is a pretty funny look here as Terrell Thomas comes over. Starts doing punishment push-ups for him.
You can do anything in the rain, even have fun, but not after 3 hours in the chill in the rain. 3rd down and 10. Roy Halou Jr. straight ahead run. And gets close to midfield. Good block by Logan Paulson as he gets 19 yards as the final 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is pretty cute. You know, this team is having some fun here today. Look at Thomas.
Drop for 50.
Yeah, come on, buddy. Can't drop picks like that and not have some kind of punishment. That was pretty good. Terrell Thomas has actually had a pretty good game today. He had seen some extensive action he hadn't seen all year.
And Cousins going downfield. And the pass is intercepted. The Giants will cap it all on an interception. Tremaine McBride. And the 4th turnover by Washington. 7 in the game. And what a way to finish. The Giants, after an 0-6 start, finish winning 7 of their last 10 to cap the year.
Tremaine McBride, you see him underneath Nick Williams, and Kirk Cousins has made some not so great passes today. A lot of people saying this was his audition. I talked to quarterback coach Matt LaFleur on the field, and he's done a good job getting him to play these last 3 games, but today he hasn't been his best, and the Giants defense comes up with yet another huge play.
So the Redskins' 13th loss this season, tying the franchise record back in '94. And they dropped 8 in a row. The Giants end up 7-9. The Redskins 3-13. And once again, the final score, the Giants 20, the Redskins 6. Coming up next, it's America's Game of the Week after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.